It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 to the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo.
It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday edition of Shawn and Maya in the morning. Guys, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, and I am so fired up for today. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Guys, listen, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, if you're not watching this on Facebook Live, do me a favor. When you go on Facebook, make sure you like the page, Shawn and Maya in the morning, and also SportsZone Chicago, SportsZone Chicago. Now, if you're watching us on our app, well, then I guess you found us on our app. Now, if you haven't downloaded the app, make sure you do that wherever you get your apps from. Okay, just download SportsZone Chicago. Now, if you're watching this on our YouTube page, and I guess you found us on YouTube. Now, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, shame on you. Make sure you go to YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube page, SportsZone Chicago. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you, folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram because you do it just for the gram, you can follow her at Maya_Akai. That's MAYA_AKAI. I want to bring up my man real quick, fast, in a hurry. Don't worry. Flavor Vision ain't blurry. He is the man behind the curtain, the man that makes it all run. We call him the Wiz. He is also my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Chill, Shawn. Good morning. How are you?
Good, man.
Yeah.
So the price is set. The Bulls lose a heartbreaker. The Blackhawks split a pair. Man, we're good.
Hey.
White Sox bring back an old face. We're good. Let's talk about.
Hold on. That one threw me off. Out of all the ish that went down this weekend, that one threw me off the most. I was like, wait a minute.
You guys were looking at him, I thought. I was like, oh.
Exactly. I was like, wrong team, whoever reported it. But no, you know what? The price is set. The price is steep. The price is steep. I don't know, man. I ain't got it.
I had to check my little check my little portfolio, see what I got.
I'm about to call up a couple people. Hold on. Let me
call in some markers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. I'll just say this, man. Super Bowl week is upon us. It's going to be fun. The rest of the offseason, because honestly, I think in the Bears' mind, they're in win now mode. You know, I've been listening to why the Rams did what they did, and honestly, the Lions, regardless of what regardless of what the head coach's interview was like, they're quietly doing good things, like things that I like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Things that I like. But as far as this offseason, I feel like it's going to get even better. But we're not going to
have any news this week, so there's no news, no trades, right. No nothing is allowed to be announced this week during the Super Bowl. It's all Super Bowl. So anything with Deshaun Watson or anyone else, any other trades or acquisitions of players, that's not gonna happen until next week, a week from today, right. Because this is all Super Bowl week. I had a tough time getting guests, like national guests, for today because at 10 o'clock is 11 o'clock is the availability for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, a lot of those guys, I hit up my guy, the Schwammer, Frank Schwab.
Yeah.
He's like, bad. He goes, I'm gonna be on there, and and it was cutting a little too close at 10 o'clock. So all the other guys, all the other national people as well. I'm like, man, but we'll get them on later in the week. And but it's a Super Bowl week, man. Every other news is pushed to the back burner. Okay, it's pushed to the back burner because you got the GOAT versus the baby goat. Man, it's gonna be fun.
Well, they're saying the goat versus the kid because a kid is a baby goat. So it's goat versus the kid. So there you go.
You know what? That's a good one. Whoever came up with that, that's a good one.
It wasn't me. I forgot who it was. And if you know it was you, let me know. But that's what I heard. Goat versus the kid.
The kid. That's awesome. That is a baby because the kid is a baby goat. That's crazy, man. Who would have thought my zoology class from grammar school would have come in handy for a play on words. Listen, guys, we have an awesome show, but we need you to get interactive with us today. So listen up. Wherever you're watching this from, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, our YouTube channel, or whether it's our app, wherever you're watching this from, do me a favor. Just leave a question or comment right there on the post, and we'll get it up here on the screen. We want it to be interactive. We want an interactive show. We love when you guys leave questions or comments. We incorporate them in the show, and we'd like you to feel part of our show as well. Listen, we got a great show for you at 10 o'clock. VJ Vemu from SB Nation is going to call it. We're going to talk some Bulls basketball. If you saw the Bulls game on Saturday, video game dame, God bless it, that son of a gun is no punk. No punk. So we're going to talk to him about that. What's that doing to the mindset of this Bulls? Are they close now? Or are they a little further than some people may think? Because that was a heartbreaker. Woo, Charlie. Up 5 with 11 seconds to go. And that doesn't happen. Woo, Charlie. Man, let me tell you. So that's going to be it's going to be good. So at 10 o'clock, VJ Vemu from SB Nation is calling in. Listen. We also had one other guest, but he canceled last minute, which sucked, but that's all right. But you know how we do 9 to 10 o'clock. We have our guy, your guy, our guy. It's everybody's guy. No, it's Joseph Phillips from the Chicago Crusader is going to join us. Then 10 to 11 is going to be Kenneth Davis. Okay. You know who Kenneth Davis is. The D and Davis show. Yeah. And then at 11 o'clock, our guy's he takes the baton for the anchored leg. That is Jason Palmer. And guess what? I want to first and foremost, I want to say happy birthday to one of the guys here on SportsZone Chicago, and that's Lance C. Irvin. He'll be doing a show tonight with Jason. That is his co-host, and I'll tell you what, it's his birthday. Make sure you wish him a happy birthday here, or call the show, or listen to the show. Tune in tonight, 6 o'clock. We got the text line burned up already. Talking about my guy Nate, University of Nebraska star. Because I'm not going to say the high school he went to. University of Nebraska star, Buffalo Bills star. Bears are making crazy decisions again. They hired a 6-year quality control coach. 1 year as a safety coach, which just happens to be Jackson's fall off year. Now he's in control of the whole defense. Yeah. Oh, well, that's what they're doing. That's why they're you heard Mike Pettin is in the mix as a safety / assistant defensive coordinator position. He's a quality control. Hey, Nate played for the Buffalo Bills for a long time, so he knows he's a quality control, gets the coffee. Oh man. So yeah, there's a lot going on with the Bears, and you know what? This reeks of Nagy. This is exactly what it is. This reeks of Nagy. Okay, no one wants to be there. They don't think he's going to be here long, which is why guys were jumping ship and made plans already. This guy is a joke. This guy is a joke. Okay. His arrogance is what really gets me. Okay. I can understand if you're not qualified. I can understand if you're not good at being a head coach. I get it. It's your first gig. Not everybody is good at being a head coach, because once you see that everything that being a head coach entails, it might not be for everybody. And it might not be for Nagy. But his arrogance and his stubbornness is what gets me. That's what bugs me. Let me tell you. That's what gets my goat.
As far as him being in control, I could see your point. Like that move was about Matt Nagy having control of people on his staff up and down. You know what I'm saying? Now he could go up to Shawn Desai, and say, "Hey, what's going on with the defense?" Without a guy like Chuck Pagano saying, "Hey, get out of here." You know what I mean? Like now
I got it.
Now he could go up and down the ladder at will and do and say whatever he wants and put his input into the game. So I feel like you're right. I feel like that was a move in order to ultimately benefit Matt Nagy.
Yes. You know what? And it's under the guise of, and listen, I am never gonna knock a guy and talk smack about a guy who's worked his way up. Okay. He was a 6-year quality control coach. It's kind of worked his way up. He was a safeties coach. And you're right. It was the year that Eddie Jackson regressed, but part of it has to be on Eddie Jackson's got to take a lot of has to shoulder the blame too. Let's not get that twisted. So, and he put it as the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to get a young guy with a veteran defense. That's the issue. You don't want to get a young guy who's not respected and I don't know how respected he is in the facility, but I'm talking about respected around the NFL. I know Kyle Long had some good things to say about him when he was hired. I know a lot of players have a lot of good things to say about him, but it's a different story, man. It is a different story when live bullets are flying. Okay, when you're in the game and you have to stop a Deshaun Watson, a Patrick Mahomes. You have to stop a stud running back. It's a different thing. So we're gonna see. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that. But guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning to you. And these are the hot topics of the night before or just some sports in general. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. The Top of the Morning segment is powered by the Chicago Crusader newspaper. And with that, we bring in their guy. We bring in our guy. We bring in your guy, the guy you can find on Twitter at ACA Joe. Man, he just graduated with another degree the other day. I was proud of him, my man. You can find him on Twitter at ACA Joe. Bring him out. Joseph Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
What's up, Papa? God bless.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, man. Feeling great, man. Just getting through the snow and testing out the new winter. Oh, well, not new winter boots, but new winter boots. Boots I discovered that I didn't have, but they were actually on the top of the shelf in the closet. So I was just like, oh, okay, I got some winter boots.
You got a new pair of boots.
Yeah. Like I don't have to buy any more winter boots. So my wife, I told her, I'm going to the store, celebrate your birthday. We're going to get you something nice. We're going to get you straight. And it was a big celebration all weekend.
Was good stuff, dude. Good stuff. What about your graduation, dude? How was that?
Oh, the graduation was awesome, man. This brings to conclusion almost a 2-year journey, or close to a 2-year journey, 1-year journey. It was probably going to be a 1.5-year journey if it wasn't for the pandemic. But due to the pandemic, we had to pause a little bit and still work around that. But we all overcame and got through and finished up in my biblical studies degree, which is my 4th degree that's added, and that God blessed me with.
It's not God bless you. You worked your ass off for it. When you say God bless you for it, it means God gave you something. He looked out for you. You worked your ass off for it. Let's not get it twisted. And
no. I give all credit to God for the simple fact that He gave me the breath to do the work, and also He gave me the motivation to do the work. So when I'm not saying that like it happened out of osmosis. I'm saying that he gave me the ability. If He didn't give me the brain, if He didn't create the brain,
but you still made the decision. You still did the work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's all. What I'm saying is don't sell yourself short. because
Oh, no.
we all get the same 24 hours. We all have the same. We all the same. Most of us have the same opportunities. Not all, but we all have similar opportunities. You took advantage of it. And that's a testament to you. And and I don't want you to shortchange yourself.
No. When it comes to God, He's our creator, man. We'll never be shortchanged, man. He made me and you. He gave us breath. I wouldn't be on this show today if it wasn't for Him. That's just how.
None of us would be.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep it at that.
Anyway, guys, the first top of the morning topic is today is it's one that we haven't really talked about these guys much. Okay, they're kind of on a back burner a little bit, even though their season's in full swing. But the Blackhawks beat the Columbus Blue Jackets yesterday 3-1. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Patrick Kane, has a goal and an assist. Kevin Lankinen, it looks like they may have found a goalie.
Yeah.
Kevin Lankinen, 32 out of 33 shots he stopped for a rookie goaltender. And you know what? If you recall, they had a rookie goaltender back in 2010 that did the trick too. And I'm not saying they're going to the cup. I'm just saying you had a rookie goaltender who did work, and this could be what a diamond in the rough, because we weren't expecting this, but people had told us. They said, watch for Kevin Lankinen. He might be the best one. He'll probably start. He's probably the best option that they have. I said, okay. But you know what? This is his 6 out of 7, his 6 starts out of the last 7 games. And he's doing good. Philippe Kurashev had another goal in there as well. And then the Suter, not Patel. I'll put Suter.
Yeah, Peter.
Patek. Peter. Yeah, Peter Suter scored the other goal. So 3-1. Big win for the Hawks. And I was really happy for them and Jeremy Colleton.
Oh, man. Yesterday was a rookie show. You got the rookie goaltender putting on the show. I think he's like 3-1-1 in his first 6 starts, I believe. And then you had Suter scoring a goal. And then you had Karsanov. Is it Karsanov? Kurashev scoring a goal. And then Patrick Kane, the veteran, scoring a goal. So 3 goals. And then a shutdown performance by a rookie goalie. So I have to give shout out to the 3 rookies who put on the show yesterday. I think they pretty much dominated that game from start to finish. And that's in Karsanov, Suter, and the goalie. So shout out to those 3 guys in the 3-1 victory over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Patrick Kane is the old veteran that hangs around and is teaching these young guys how to play the game the right way. And that's how he learned, like he came in the door, he was skillful. He was, I would say he was respectful, but he wasn't afraid of anybody. And that's the fearlessness that you need out of this young group. You can't fear your opponent. And hopefully the Bulls are watching on the other end. You can't fear your opponents.
Yeah, definitely not. They can't do that. So good win for the Hawks. The next top of the morning topic, man, our boy is back, baby. Carlos Rodon, the left-hander, signs a 1-year, $3 million deal with the South Side. He stays home. I thought he was going to move up to the North Side. That was what a lot of the rumors, a lot of the reports were saying, that the Cubs were interested in him. And guess what? He's back for a 1-year deal for $3 million. I think that's awesome. I would put him in relief. He may, depends on how the season plays out, where he might actually be a starter, maybe even a spot starter.
Right.
Okay. But middle relief, it shores up our bullpen. According to one of the publications, the Sox have the second best bullpen in baseball. And you add Carlos Rodon, a lefty with a nasty, wicked, I think it's illegal in some states, slider. Yeah, that just adds to that bullpen. Garrett Crochet throwing 102, 103 miles an hour. That joker, put him in the bullpen again. Keep him, I'd say have him as a starter next year in 2022. I think he'll be ready to go, just like we did Chris Sale. If you guys remember Chris Sale came out of the bullpen first. Okay, he for a year or two, season and a half before he became a full-time starter. And I think that's what they're going to do with Garrett Crochet. You got a lefty who's popping triple digits on a regular. You saw when he came in the playoffs, dude, guys couldn't hit him. They couldn't hit there, because you're not used to that. And you need to have someone on the team, okay? Or you have to go get someone. You need someone on the team who can touch that 3 digits.
Right.
Because if you can't, you're not. It's tough to get used to. It's very, very tough to get used to. Vernon, what's up, V? Vernon, since the Sox signed at close, the world's Colomé going to fit? Colomé, he's a free agent. He's a free agent, so he's not signed. He's not with the White Sox right now. He's he's looking for employment. But trust me, it's not going to be long before he finds employment with the record he had the last 2 years.
Yeah, man. I'm proud of the White Sox. This is a good PR move by them, and I think the Cubs played a part in that because Rondon was like, "Oh, yeah, just throw me to the curb like this. Watch this." He goes to the north side, flirts with him.
Yeah, they weren't trying to risk that.
He's like, we're not trying to hear that. They was like, get his tail back over here. We'll deal with him once we sign him. And we'll keep him in house. And I wouldn't feel comfortable going back to that situation, but hey, this is baseball. This is a good baseball move. This is a good PR move. You're going to be in a winning team for a long time to come. And you're going to be in a locker room where low key, you're going to have a lot of people there and be like, why is he back? So
I mean, maybe he also those bonds, because I'm sure that he has friends there. I mean, it's been his only team since he's been in the major leagues. So
right.
for me, like I totally agree with you, Joseph. From all standpoints, this is a good move. I was just like, I thought he was done. Like the way that he was released, the way that they made the story and everything like that, like the way it was presented to us, I thought they weren't going to go ahead and touch him again. But I think you're right. I think the Cubs and honestly, the thought of him finding a resurgence with the Cubs, I think that was a risk. Just like you said, as a PR standpoint.
And it's becoming a trend too, because the White Sox was doing it to us for a long time. Like they were, and I'm not trying to take shots at the White Sox. I love my White Sox friends. But as you know, there's always some little grudge going on between us and them where they're trying to take our players or coaches and stuff and then turn them against us. I don't know why they do that, but
take your players and coaches. We don't
understand why y'all want to fight us. We don't want to fight you guys. We just want to make peace. And as soon as we start making any movements toward your players, you guys, y'all want to send a message to us like stay away from our players, But it's okay. I'm glad y'all cleaned that up PR wise because Rodon was about to give the whole business to the north side and just tell us how bad the organization was.
So we didn't want him no way.
We didn't want
him. You didn't want him no way, huh? Okay.
It's like we deal with our own. Y'all. That's how y'all do it. Y'all like we're gonna deal with you when you get in the locker room. I already know, Shawn. But that was a nice PR move, though. I have to give it to the Sox.
That's awesome. Well, listen, the next top of the morning topic. You know what? Let's skip over this one. Oh man, the next two are dope. Damn. Okay, we can go over the before and after the break on this one.
Okay.
So we didn't get to talk about this last week, but the price has been set. Huge trade in the NFL over the weekend. The Detroit Lions traded the quarterback Matt Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-round picks. The first-round pick in 22 and 23. A third-round pick this year in 2021, and their quarterback, Jared Goff. Man, that's a lot of picks. That's a lot of picks that Detroit's getting. 2 first-rounders. They got a third-rounder this year, and they have a first round in 22, a first round in 23, and they got a quarterback who could you plug and play. Man, you can get some nice pieces around him. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got a nice little contract. Remember, he signed that 4-year, $100-something million deal. Okay, he was one of the guys that get it, which I didn't think he deserved it. Right. I didn't think his numbers dictated it, but I ain't mad at him. Shoot, if they're going to offer me that money, I'm going to take it.
Now, you talking about Jared Goff or Matt?
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's got that big contract.
Yeah.
That the Lions got to eat. So it's going to hinder them, somewhat in the cap. But we'll see. That you can always maneuver and fudge with the numbers. But that was a big deal over the weekend, and it just made the price in the Shawn Watson sweepstakes shoot through the roof.
I know, and that's all I was thinking about in the back of my mind. I was like, Sean McVay, what have you have done? What have you done, son? What have you done? Now you didn't raise the market to another level. Now we're going to be giving up 10 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson.
Man, I tell you.
Along with our second string team. It's going to be a haul for Deshaun. So if you have to give it that many players for Matthew Stafford, who was a really good quarterback, who's going back to the state of California to perform, that's an awesome opportunity for him. And then with Jared Goff, I think Sean McVay did the best he could, just like with Matt Nagy and Mr. Trubisky. He did the best he could to make Jared Goff a respectable quarterback. And I think they kind of reached their max out after this season, as far as just want to bring in someone who can really play this position, who can get them over the top, because they have a formidable defense. And if you got a real quarterback along with that offense, man, they can be Super Bowl contenders in the near future.
There's a lot. Nate says Rams to set themselves up. Well, remember, I think the big thing on Jared Goff, if you recall, was he couldn't read defenses. And Sean McVay had to tell him what coverage it was in. And, so now they're in cover 2, they're in cover 3. Now we know exactly where to go, because now you know the coverage. But then teams figured it out. If you remember the Super Bowl, what they started doing, they started switching after the 15-second clock, or after the play clock. When the play clock hits 15 seconds, there's no more communication between the coach, whoever it is, the offensive coordinator or the head coach, whoever has controls or whoever's communicating with the quarterback. That goes off. So there's no more communication. He can't say, hey, it's a cover 3, it's a cover 2, it's a man, it's a cover 4, whatever it is. Okay. And they switched defenses after that. Blew his mind. And he couldn't do jack spit. And so that was the book on him. So, it's the fact that first of all, this is why I said I was surprised he got that money.
Right.
When you got a quarterback that you realize can't read defenses, trust me, we're familiar with that, and you give him all that money,
right?
That made no sense. And I think they're trying to get themselves out of that contract because they realized that was bad money,
right?
And when you remember, they shipped away Todd Gurley,
right?
All right, they let him get away or let him walk. They have receivers. Mm-hmm. You got a nice defense,
right? You
just needed another quarterback, and I think Matt Stafford might be the guy that they think can take him to the next level.
And Sean McVay, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, but I was just saying, Sean McVay is almost like they all in that coaching tree where they got this evil genius mentality where I'm the smartest guy in the room. In addition to that, I can take rocks and turn them into wood. You see what I mean? Whatever they feel that they have the ability, the greatest thinking abilities to pretty much create a player, and that could be a little bit of arrogance on their end. Like he probably looked at Jared Goff and said, I'm going to turn you to John Elway because of our system. And like, no, you're not turning into John Elway because that's just not happening. He's going to be Jared Goff at the end of the day, no matter how smart you are. And it's the same thing with Matt Nagy. He comes in with his system, his plays, and he I guess he said, I'm going to make Mitch Trubisky a pocket quarterback. That didn't work, okay? You didn't do anything according to his strengths, so therefore the quarterback suffered for that. And I think the difference with him and Matthew Stafford, Stafford is already a proven commodity. He was still able to produce without a great offensive line and without great weapons. And I think he's going to take his game to the next level under McVay's offense.
Listen, we got to take a quick break. And you just saw on the screen, our guy Nate Turner said, hey, Stafford just won the lotto. But the question is, how much is Watson worth? Well, guess what? We have a starting price. The price has been set for Deshaun Watson. And we're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere. Nate, stay around, because we're going to tell you what they're starting with. The starting point for Deshaun Watson on the other side. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Hey, this is Gary Payton, and we listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Do that.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. A two-goal third period lifted the Blackhawks past the Blue Jackets 3-1 on Sunday. Goals from Patrick Kane, Philip Kurashev, and Pius Sutter, while Kevin Lankinen made 32 saves in net. The Blackhawks improved to 1-1 on a four-game homestand after losing 2-1 to the Blue Jackets on Friday night. The Hawks had been winless in 3. The Hawks with a sorely needed win a day after the team canceled practice due to COVID-19 concerns. Ryan Carpenter and Nicholas Bowden were placed on the NHL's COVID list, joining teammates Alex DeBrincat, Adam Boquist, and Lucas Wallmark. The Bulls are home tonight hosting the Knicks. Chicago coming off a 123-122 home loss against the Blazers on Saturday. They'll look to snap a 3-game slide tonight. The Bulls and Knicks also play again Wednesday night at United Center. This update brought to you by the SCORE app. Download the free SCORE app today. It's one of the most popular sports apps in North America. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Breathe out and repeat after me. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Your bird is eating my candles.
Your bird is eating my candles.
No, seriously, he's making a mess.
No, seriously.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Before we went to break, we talked about what is the price going to be? What is the price going to be for Deshaun Watson? Our guy asked us. Our guy Nate Turner asked us that. You know what, Nate? I'm glad you asked. I have the answer for you right here. So, according to John McClain, and we're not talking about Die Hard either.
He's back. John
McClain, on Twitter, he posted this in his Twitter account yesterday morning. He said, okay, this, and I'm reading the quote verbatim. It said, the Rams-Lions trade will have nothing to do with a Watson trade if the Texans do it. The Texans, well, they will want 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, and 2 young defensive starters at the least.
Whoa.
2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 defensive starters at the least.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Ouch. So next option, guys.
Hey, here's the deal. People talk about quarterbacks and their importance, and we know the importance of quarterbacks in the NFL. Okay, just because you have one or you want one, or the Bears can't act out of desperation, because here's what you're going to do. If you're giving 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, okay, and 2 defensive starters, 2 young defensive starters, so you have to plug and play. They're probably going to ask for the 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s. I'm not sure what the years are, but that's what they're going to want. So if they want a first and second this year and a first and second next year, it's going to have to be down the road. They can't be 20. All 4 picks can't be in the 21 and 22 drafts. They can't be. There's no way. That cripples the team. And then 2 starters, I tell them to go fuck yourself. I'm sorry, but man, no way. And I understand that the quarterback is the most coveted position, the most important position in pro sports, but you're not going to rate me because your guy wants out. It's not happening. So here's what we're going to offer you. I'd say 2 number 1s. I'll give you a second, a third, and maybe a 5th, but 2 two first rounders, 2 second rounders, and 2 starters. Yeah, go fuck yourself. I'm sorry, I'm pissed. That pissed me off. Go fuck yourself.
You're absolutely right to be pissed off.
If you have the audacity to ask for that shit, get out of here. And you know what? How about this? How about you keep him? How about you keep him and have him not show up and keep finding his ass? Okay, keep him because he's not going to play for you guys. Keep him and keep finding his ass.
Yeah, I think right now, because of the Rams making that move, I guess the Texans is like, oh, I'll raise you one. Like you're not gonna outdo us. We're gonna show you what Deshaun Watson is really worth. And like you said, they are requiring now, because I think at first they wasn't asking for 2 starters, but now they're asking for that after seeing the market for Matthew Stafford. So
they never said anything. That never
right.
what their asking price wasn't said until yesterday.
Right. So that was the first time they actually announced it. But if I was the Bears, and I know, Shawn, you may not agree with this, hey, I'm thinking like, okay, this is what it really going to take. So who would be those 2 defensive guys that I'll get rid of? Now, one of those guys, if it was me, okay, would be Kyle Fuller. Okay.
He's got a year left in his contract. Okay.
Yeah, you can have him. And then the second guy would be between Eddie Jackson and Jalen Johnson. Now, I think Eddie Jackson is depreciating, but at the same time, I don't know if it's coaching or him just getting lazy after having the contract. I don't know if they'll take on that type of contract, but far as his star status, hey, I'll send Fuller, Eddie Jackson, along with 3 first-round picks over there to get Deshaun Watson. I think we can find a safety to replace Eddie Jackson.
I like Vernon's trade idea. Put that back up there. The McCaskies, Leno Jr., Nagy, and Pace. You can have all them jokers. You can have all them jokers. All of them.
Joseph, I agree with the 2 players.
I could do that.
Fuller and Jackson, man, we're on the same page.
You can get a safety in the draft.
3 where I lose, 2 I'm fine with. I could go. I'll do 2 first rounders, Kyle Fuller, Eddie Jackson, a 3rd and a 4th in separate years. I could do something like that.
Here's where Ryan Pace has got to have a sack. Here's where he's got to have a sack and say, hey, listen, I'm giving you 2 guys. Okay, I'm giving you 2 firsts. I'll give you a second, and I'm giving you 2 guys. You're not getting 2 seconds. Go screw yourself. Okay, go screw the pooch. All right, but I'm giving you a starter guy who's a first-team All-Pro. Okay, in a safety, and you got a first-team All-Rookie, All-Rookie NFL in Jalen Johnson. So you think I'm giving you a second? I got some swampland I got to sell you. Okay, there's no way. He's got to have a sack. He has to talk to Rick Hahn. He's got to talk to Rick Hahn and talk about that, dude. I'm telling you,
get Rick Hahn on the phone.
Get him on the phone and have him in one ear, or have him on speaker so Rick Hahn's next to you when he talks. So Rick Hahn say, "No, don't do that. No, no way. Because I do like that as much as I like Jalen Johnson. Okay, I could get rid of him and Eddie Jackson. I'm cool with. You can get a good safety in the second round because you're going to need one now that Eddie Jackson's gone.
Right.
And you can get another. You're going to have to get another good cornerback too. So yeah, that's far too much talent to be giving you an extra second round pick.
But see, this is the consequences we have to pay for that. It's unfortunate, but now we're pretty much at the mercy of the customer. Like we're at the mercy.
No, we're not. Because there's other people out there, man. There's other people out there. You could talk to the Raiders about Derek Carr. You could talk about Jameis Winston. I mean, remember, if you go get a quarterback now, it doesn't mean he's your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. It could be a stopgap. It could be a good quarterback, a little more than a game manager, a stopgap. Okay, while you go look for your quarterback, because if you give up 2 first-round picks, you ain't gonna find a quarterback.
Do you want Matty Ice? Do you want Matty Ice on this team?
Matt Ryan, no, he's too old.
Too old. Okay.
But he's got no. I'll tell you why. The hell of he's too old. He's got a stupid contract. His contract's through the roof. You can't be bringing in a quarterback unless he's your guy, unless he's your franchise guy. He has to. He can't have $100 million contract. No. There's no way you can't have $100 million contract as your stopgap. No way. That's why Jameis Winston looks good. A Derek Carr looks good. Gardner Minshew. All these guys. All these other guys who can be a stopgap, a good 2 or 3 year player till you find it. Because if you don't, Because if you don't trade away or give away those first round picks, man, now you might be able to get your quarterback. Now you might be able to get your left tackle. Now there's people that you can get. So now you're not going to have to go get another Eddie Jackson. Maybe this was an anomaly. Say, Eddie Jackson, you've been trending toward the negative. We need you to come back and play. Jalen Johnson is going to be in that same system for a second year in a row, so he's going to be a little more comfortable. So, you know what? Just because they're asking it doesn't mean you got to give it.
Right, and I think like we don't want to be baited into anything because
it happened to us.
Yeah, I know it's going to happen. But the Bears are very desperate right now, and something desperate is going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but something desperate is going to happen. But I think we need to look into the area of David Carr. I'm sorry, David Carr, correct?
Derek.
Yeah, Derek Carr. Okay, I like him. You know, he got a little Brett Favre in him a little bit with the number 4 and everything, and I think Gruden is kind of tired of him a little bit because I think their personalities don't mesh. So to give him a new scenery, a new start, bring him to Chicago, I would love to hire David Carr if we can't get Deshaun Watson.
I'm okay with Jameis.
Tyrod. What about Tyrod? Tyrod Taylor, if he's available?
If he's available, yeah. I just need a quarterback that can win, a quarterback that's coachable, a quarterback. And here, again, here's the thing: who's going to be calling the plays? Because that's a huge deal. Is it Nagy again, which we all know it's going to be, or is it going to be Bill Lazor? Because Bill Lazor obviously knows how to freaking call a game. He knows, but
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, all I gotta say is this, man. If you want Deshaun Watson, go get him. You know, whatever you do, just send us the receipts after everything. You know, like you know how you gotta go out and buy your wife something really nice, and it's like you have no spending limits. You know, like just bring it back, see if she appreciates it, and then we pay for the damages later. And that's how I'm looking at the Bears in this situation. What is it we have to give up to get it? And we have to do whatever we have to do to get it, then go out and get them. You know, and I know that some people may not agree with that, but if you want a franchise quarterback, which you had a chance to draft back in 2017, and you did take advantage of it, now you got to mortgage the future for him. And either way it go, we got to pay the piper.
This is exactly why Ryan Pace shouldn't be here. This is exactly why. If you can't see that he screwed the pooch royally, 3 out of his 4 first-round draft picks, and then goes back around and going to have to pay the guy that he skipped out on over $100 million contract. I think he's got $94 million left or something like that.
Yeah.
This shows you that he doesn't know what he's doing. This shows you that he's incompetent in first-round picks and in quarterback evaluation. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm done with him. I'm really done with Ryan Pace, dude. He's bothersome. He now the sight of him annoys me. I can't stand the sight of him. I can't stand the sound of his voice because he's full of shit. Okay, he's an idiot. He's an idiot who doesn't know what he's doing. Now, in the first round, in the 3rd through 7, phenomenal. I don't know if there's ever been a better 3rd through 7th round drafter in the NFL. But you got to hit on your first round picks. And when you don't hit on your first round picks, this is what happens. This is why you got to go into the free market, go into the free agent market and overpay for players who may or may not perform.
Yeah. Well, Bears are in the catch-22, man. And so you know, what can you do? You know, we had our opportunities to draft Deshaun Watson, and now we got to pay the piper.
Yeah. Well, the price is set for Deshaun Watson. If I'm the Bears, I first of all, I don't go all in. I don't say, sure, you can have whatever you want. No, screw you. Get the hell out of here. You know, do you have a sack or not? Do you have because you're giving away 1st and 2nd round picks and then 2 of your young starters. So you can't go get quality players in the first and second round to cover the 2 young starters that you got. So you're screwed. You are jacked up. You are screwed. No way.
We need to go to the school of St. Louis Cardinals dealing. They landed Arenado the other day for some garbage draft picks. You mean some garbage farm system players? What I'm saying is that if we have to eat up some money, we need to negotiate that in there. Like, hey, give us his contract. We'll give you 3 first-round picks. Take it or leave it. Okay? Give us his contract, and we'll give you 3 first-round picks. Take it or leave it.
Dub6R says, and wouldn't drafting a quarterback in the first round essentially buy Nagy and Pace an extra year or 2? It would. But it all depends on who they get. There's a lot of different quarterbacks out. Are you going to be able to get a quarterback that you're comfortable with? You know what I mean? Are you going to be able to get like the kid out of Utah State? There's a couple other youngsters. I don't know if you're going to find your franchise quarterback this year, and especially drafting at 20. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Bears, this is our organization in a nutshell, man. We're tweeners, man. And this is the consequence of a tweener. We're stuck in the middle. Every team can use their leverage against us right now. Like I said, we're not good enough to get a first-round pick, which we need a first-round, top pick in the first round, top 5 pick or number 1 pick. And we're not bad enough. We're not good enough to win the Super Bowl, and we're not bad enough to get a first-round pick in the top 5. So we're stuck, man. We're stuck in the middle. This is not where you want to be as a franchise. This is why I think between Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, they're going to go out and go all in on Deshaun Watson. You probably see them give up Khalil Mack. It's a possibility, bro.
No, no one's taking this contract. No one's taking this contract. That's too big of a contract for a guy who's been injury prone and hasn't had double-digit sacks in the last 2 years. There's nobody's taking Khalil Mack's contract. Nobody. No. So so everyone who started, give him Khalil Mack, dude. No one's taking his contract. Okay, so people need to stop.
Say pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, we've been fighting for this, for how many months now? We need a quarterback. It's been years, since 27. Oh, actually, it's been decades. So
stop it. We had color. We just had too many. And look at our guy Nate. Chicago had a top 5 pick. You're damn right, and they blew it. Nothing, Nate. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing more, nothing less. They blew it. You had a 67% chance of drafting the right quarterback, either Mahomes or Watson. You had a 67% chance, and you blew it. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Which shows you why. Shows you exactly why Pace needs to be gone.
Hey, Shawn, there's somebody who wants to say hi to you too, man. As you can see, he had something to say about the Bears' latest move. Would you like to hear from him?
Do I have a choice? Oh my God.
First of all, man, this is the Sports Llama, okay? He'll be introduced pretty soon on YouTube, so you'll be seeing him here. But he'll be talking a lot of Bears football. But at the end of the day, I wanted to make a quick announcement. My wife and I found out last week that we'll be having a baby boy coming in June.
Congratulations, dude.
Yeah, so this is one of the little animals I'm getting ready for to show my little baby boy. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Dude, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, two little Phillips boys running around. God bless your wife, because you're gonna have three boys to deal with. Oh
yeah.
At least she doesn't have to change your diaper often.
Right. That's what I said. On a positive note,
Oh, that's great. That's great stuff, man. That's That's great stuff. That's great stuff.
Congratulations, Joseph.
Thank you, sir. I had to add the little puppet in there. I was like, yeah, this is.
I was like, what the hell's going on?
Dude, Nate Turner, you are retarded, dude. Oh, can I not say that? Sorry. You're on Sports Llama for defensive coordinator. Oh, no, you're right. Why not? Because it's gonna be Nagy's call anyway.
Right.
Let's go into a man-to-man zone.
Yeah.
Man-to-man.
All these Madden plays,
Oh, dude, that's crazy. Well, the last half of the morning talk before we get out of here, the Bulls on Saturday, they fall to the Portland Trailblazers 123-122 on a last-second three-point shot by video game Damian Lillard. The Bulls were down 19. They climbed back to take the lead. The Bulls were led by Lauri Markkanen with 31 points. Weren't we just talking about Lauri Markkanen and him having to get tougher? Lauri Markkanen, 31 points. Zach LaVine had a 26. But Damian Lillard hit two three-pointers in the last 11 seconds to push his total to end the night with 44 points. And you talk about stealing defeat from the jaws of victory. That's what the Bulls did. They took defeat. And I'll tell you what, video game Damian Lillard is unfreaking believable.
Oh man, I was just in awe of just how amazingly his range is. I mean, he was pulling up jumpers for 33 feet out.
Yep.
But I'm also disappointed in the Bulls because he pretty much gave that game away. Okay, it's no excuse for stuff like that. No excuse. If Lauri Markkanen would have dived on the floor for the ball, the game would have been over. But he didn't. He swung at the ball, and a much faster guard than Damian Lillard picked the ball up. Not only picked the ball up, but had the presence of mind to step back and hit a fadeaway three-pointer to pretty much seal the deal.
That's Lauri's inexperience and him not playing on a consistent basis the last couple of years. First of all, you know who the frick you're playing against. You know who the frick that is. It's not some joker. You know who the hell that is. That's Damian Lillard, who pulls up from literally 2 steps across half court and drains them. So you have to understand they're going to find him. If he has to run off of 17 screens, they're going to find him. So when you see him unattended to, I don't give a damn. You go run to him now. Don't worry about who has the ball now. Don't worry about who's dribbling. Don't worry about who's faking a shot or trying to get a handle. Go stand by him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You stand by him. This needs to be worked out in practice. Okay, if he's coming off a screen, are we gonna switch or are we gonna stay with our man? If we switch, then the other guy's got to step up on him, and you got to be in his goddamn jersey. You have to be. You know who he is. You know what he can do. You've seen it on Sports Center a million times, and then you get caught doing the same thing that you saw other people getting caught doing.
First of all, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Shawn. I'm sorry.
No, I just got pumped up because it's common sense sports, not basketball, not baseball. Who's the guy that can hurt you the most at the end of the game? You find him and you put a guy on him and don't let him breathe. Exactly. If he wants to get a hot dog, you put the mustard on it. Period. Right.
And they had a foul. I think if they would have fouled him,
I don't know if they had a foul to give. I don't know.
And they would have gave him. I don't think they had a foul to give, but if they would at least send him to the line to shoot two, tie the game and send him overtime. But one thing you don't do, you don't give up a 3-point. Okay, in that situation because it's win or go home. And Zach LaVine, this is what I'm talking about: basketball IQ. Being aware of your situation. You don't catch the ball in the corner. You learn that type of stuff in high school because whenever you go to the corner, guess what's coming? A trap, okay? A trap. And at least it was one time I'll never forget when I was playing basketball. We were playing against this team that wanted to beat us so bad. We were blowing them out, but they ended up coming back in the game. So with like 5 seconds left, guess what I did? I used my basketball IQ. We inbound the ball. As soon as I got the ball, I rolled it up the court. I let them go get it, okay? And by the time you got the ball, guess what? the time was out, and they wanted to fight me. A big fight broke out at a church league. My whole thing is this: use your basketball IQ. Okay, in that situation, you can't get tied up for a jump ball. You got to get that ball out of your hands. There were two guys wide open to pass the ball to, and he didn't make the right play. So he thought they were going to foul him, and that lady referee, I was really disappointed in her because I thought she was going to at least give us like a foul on that play, but she didn't. She ended up calling the jump ball because she was looking for something like that. And it kind of turned the tide and gave Portland another opportunity. But I thought the game was over for the Bulls. I was really about to celebrate their effort from coming back from 19 down. But they have to grow up now. I can't baby them no more.
Yeah, but even Zach LaVine, if you watch the game or like right after that, he's like, that was a jump ball. You called it a jump ball? Like he couldn't believe that she called it a jump ball was called. Yeah, it was
heartbreaking.
Yeah. So then don't forget that leads us to our next guest. At the top of the hour in a few minutes, VJ Vemu from SB Nation is going to call in and talk a little Bulls basketball with us. And the last top of the morning topic. Major League Baseball has proposed a delay of a month to start the season and a 154-game schedule due to the COVID outbreak. It said if 154 games are played, salaries for players will be paid in full. But they want to delay spring training a month. So instead of March, they want us to go in April. Which I'm okay with it. I'll go to Arizona in April. That's cool.
Right.
But they want so they proposed it. Now the players union has to decide whether or not they agree with it. I don't think it's going to pass. I just think that a lot of that's 8 games. Okay, a lot of numbers, a lot of bonuses. Okay, 8 games. That's almost twice through the starting through a rotation. Okay, that could be an extra 2 wins for some pitchers.
Right.
Okay, that could be a couple of home runs, a couple of RBIs for some people. Okay, that have incentive clause in their contract saying if I hit X amount, okay, of RBIs and homers and hits and all these other statistics. If I hit that, I get 500,000, $1 million, whatever it is. I don't know if that's going to happen. I just don't see the union approving it.
Yeah, I think they already said they're in disagreement with the proposal. So my whole thing is this, it's about the safety of the players. Number one. Number two, I think that hopefully that they can start in April. That the COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted by then. Giving it another month to allow it to do that in other cities, because I think other cities are starting to open up now. So if they play it by ear, they probably won't lose a lot of money when it comes to that situation. And then last but not least, 154 games is pretty decent. You don't have to worry about playing two, like how it was in the shortened season when they was playing 2 and 3 games in one week, or maybe in one day, or 2 games in one day, double hitters and stuff like that. You don't have to do that anymore. So everything could be stretched out over a long period of time.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it plays out. Like I said, just to see what happens in spring training if they do get it pushed back for a month. So we'll see. And then how is this going to go? With the fans, how many fans are they going to allow in the games? It's going to be interesting to see. But listen, we got to go. But listen, Joseph, great stuff today, Papa.
Hey,
what are you going to be writing about this week?
Oh, well, I am doing a story on the Bulls' loss to the Trailblazers. The buzzer beater by Damian Lillard, dropping 44 points. In spite of Lauri Markkanen and Zach LaVine. Lauri Markkanen scoring 31, Zach LaVine scoring 26. And also, I'm doing a piece on the Blackhawks winning 3-1 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. And last but not least, I added one more piece, and I believe that was on I think it's something on Major League Baseball. So it'll be those 3 stories this week. Okay, great stuff, Papa. We'll see you on Wednesday, all right? All right, God bless. Peace out. All right, listen, guys, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to continue our Bulls talk with our guy VJ Vemu from SB Nation.
So I'm excited to talk about that and seeing where the Bulls go from here. How big of a dagger, how devastating was that loss on Saturday? So we're going to find out. VJ Vemu up next right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. A two-goal third period lifted the Blackhawks past the Blue Jackets 3-1 on Sunday. Goals from Patrick Kane, Philip Kurashev, and Pia Sutter, while Kevin Lankinen made 32 saves in net. The Blackhawks improved to 1-1 on a 4-game homestand after losing 2-1 to the Blue Jackets on Friday night. The Hawks had been winless in 3. The Hawks with a sorely needed win a day after the team canceled practice due to COVID-19 concerns. Ryan Carpenter and Nicholas Bowden were placed on the NHL's COVID list, joining teammates Alex DeBrincat, Adam Boquist, and Lucas Wallmark. The Bulls are home tonight hosting the Knicks. Chicago coming off a 123-122 home loss against the Blazers on Saturday. They'll look to snap a 3-game slide tonight. The Bulls and Knicks also play again Wednesday night at United Center. This update brought to you by the SCORE app. Download the free SCORE app today. It's one of the most popular sports apps in North America. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Breathe out and repeat after me. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Your bird is eating my candles.
Your bird is eating my candles.
No, seriously, he's making a mess.
No, seriously.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Floor, step back 3 from Dame. Oh! Painted! Damian Lillard! Game winner in Chicago! Back-to-back threes to break the heart of the Bulls. Wow. It's that time.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. That clip courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. That was this Saturday. This past Saturday, the Bulls lose to the Blazers 123-122. And I don't know. I got fired up earlier. But first, I want to bring on my guest. He's going to sit with me for the next hour. You know my man. You see him here twice a week. He is a host of That Davis Show, and you can find him on Twitter at That's Davis. Guys, let's bring him out. My boy, Kenneth Davis. Kenneth, what's up, Papa?
What's going on, Shawn? How you doing, bro?
Good. I'm good, man. That was a sledgehammer to the chest, man.
Ooh, listen, you go to bed angry after something like that. You're asking questions. You know, Billy taking the time out on the play prior to that. The quick call, and then it's just Dame. Yeah. It's just Dame being Dame. Like that's the last player. When that ball dribbled out to him, you're like, oh man, here we go. Right, like here, and then it's like it's cool when it happens like to OKC. Or some other team, you're like, yeah, Dame. But then you see Zach LaVine walking off. But those are growing pains.
My issue is this, and I'm gonna call bullshit on that because like these guys have been playing ball since they were 5, okay. And when there's a stud, okay, when there's that dude on that team, he doesn't get the last shot, and he's gonna fight for it, but you have to fight to make sure he doesn't get it. And he got that ball rather quickly, rather easily. Okay, and then Lauri Markkanen had to go. If I'm Lauri Markkanen, okay, or whoever the guy is, and we're going to talk to VJ Vemu coming up in a moment. But this is it. You stay with him. I don't give a damn what the hell is going on with the other 8 players. Okay, there's nothing that they can do that's gonna stop me from looking at this son of a gun right here. I'm gonna be up in his goddamn jersey. Okay, as soon as he gets the ball, I gotta tell you how many white hairs he has in his nose. That's how close I'm going to be to him. Okay, you cannot let him, you cannot let Steph, you cannot let people like that have a shot at the end of the game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And you've known, this is something that you've known since you've been in high school, because you're probably that dude in high school who would get the last shot. Okay, so this is something that the basketball IQ has got to step up. And when people say they're young or they're growing, I call to a point. But there's certain rules in basketball that that certain guy on that team can't beat you. Certain guy in this other team can't beat you. And they let him beat. As I said, I don't care what the hell's going on with the other 8 players on the court. I'm with this dude. Call out screens so so we can switch if that's what we decide to do. Or I can, you know what I mean? But there's no way that he should have beat them, and that's on them. That's for them. That's lack of mental toughness, lack of mental awareness. Know your situation, and they didn't do that, and that pisses me off because you had it. You came back from 19 down, and you had it, and that would have been a nice feather in your cap to start the season with a new coach and a young team trying to find its identity. Sorry, I got fired up.
Wait, no, that's okay. Because I mean, to a certain aspect, I agree with you. Like you basically are saying with Covington, Larry, as soon as Covington had the ball and it seemed like it was going to end up in Dame's hands, he should have just left him and straight went to Dame in general. I get that point. But also, and again, coming into that jump ball, is your coach telling you that too? Is he like, hey, whatever? Remember, CJ McCollum isn't out there, so it's not like you got to worry about both of them. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And also remember this too. If they get a 2, it's just tied. You're going to OT. Like the 3 is what you can't give. Look, the 3 to Dame in particularly is what you can't give up. Listen, if Covington knocks down the 3, God bless him.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like we'll take that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, tip the cap. Yeah, we good. So that I can agree with that. I can agree with that. There should be no cover. They are kids, and these aren't players who just got into the league. Larry's been in the league. What's it, Larry's 4th season in the league now? Mm-hmm. Like it definitely. I mean, I can agree with that. I mean, it's no reason to make excuses for him. But also, to be honest with you, sometimes that just happens. You know what I'm saying? Like the ball dribbling to Dame like that, and then Larry not being a plus defender on top of it. Perhaps if you had. I mean, he's a kid, though, so maybe he wouldn't have known better. But if Patrick Williams was on him, he would have gotten out closer to Dame or closed out on Dame quicker and provided a little bit more interruption for that shot. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, this is what happens. If this is a difference between a team that's trying to become a team that makes it to the playoffs to a team that is always out of the playoffs. That's those games right there are the games when you start to sit there and show teams like, listen, we can close out games. And, I mean, that's kind of been an issue with this team. To a certain degree, is closing out games. They've been in games majority of the season. It's learning how to become a team that closes out games, and that's the big difference between teams that win consistently and teams that are out of the playoffs and trying to get the 10th spot and get into the play-in.
Well, we're going to talk to our next guest about that because I think we're all on the same page on that one. Guys, bring him out. He is a good friend of the program. He's been out here multiple times. You've seen him at SB Nation. You find him on Twitter at VJ Vemo. Guys, welcome back. VJ Vemo. VJ, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing well. I was listening to the conversation that you guys had. Totally agree. The Bulls somehow found ways to one-up themselves when it comes to terrible losses. I think the last time I was on, was the Damian Lee game winner. Like that one was not like, I wouldn't say terrible, but that one was one of those ones like you're talking about, like if he hits a shot, like tip the cap and let it happen. But like the Bulls again were like on a receiving end of just an amazing shot, I think, by Dame. Like Kenneth said, sometimes it just happens. Like the ball just rolled to him. But Shawn also made good points in that like the Bulls have to know the situational awareness when it comes to Dame because we've seen this so many times with Portland, right?
Exactly.
Like when Portland needs Damian Lillard, he literally comes. It's
He's
like
at the Sports Center every other week doing that to somebody.
Yeah.
You have to know. There's no if. What's he gonna do? You know who the hell's getting the damn ball? You know who's getting it? You're down 2.
Yeah.
You know who's getting the ball.
Yeah.
You know who's getting it. Oh, if I had hair, I'd pull it out.
Yeah, and like I think it was just so crushing. Given Chicago was up 5 with 11 seconds left, it's 11 seconds left. You can't possibly find a way to lose games like that, but they did. Like it's unbelievable. Like that 19. I thought that 19 or that was it the 19-point lead that they blew against OKC was bad, but this one I don't know. This one might top it in terms of like blowing the lead that they should have won. And like you guys said, like these are the games that they have to win. Like if Chicago wants to be like a team that like is in the hunt for that last playoff spot, these are the games that they have to win. They can't let it slip through their fingers because Portland is a good team. So like these are good wins that they could have on their resume. But once again, like the Bulls are now 7-11, I think, and they could easily be like have a plus 500 record, or it could be like 11-11. Like that.
Part of it is right now. Sometimes this is what I'm talking about, where there's no, and I think you mentioned it, Kenneth, the dog. There ain't no dogs in this team. Like like Zach LaVine, like you don't sit there and hope for a foul. You dribble the ball out. Okay, you dribble that ball out. You force them to make a play. Okay, you force them to make a play. Or one of the crazy things, throw the ball up, throw it down court. Okay, so throw it to a guy, or throw it, or roll it, get it away from somebody, have it, because the clock's running. So if it's down court and they get it, okay, first of all, you got to go find video game Dame and see where he's at. But if the ball's 94 feet away, they got to bring that ball up, and they still have to get off a shot, and that's time. It's just not a smart move. And this is one of the things that I was hoping that these guards would do better. And maybe it is just part of the learning process, VJ. You tell me, but like this is with the addition of Billy Donovan and Mo Cheeks, and those two guards, one of them a Hall of Famer. I thought that the guard play from the Bulls would be much, much better. And Kenneth said it. They've been in games. They've been in damn near all the games.
Mm-hmm.
Just closing out, that's where they're lacking.
Yeah. When it comes to the guard play, I think people expected a little, like you said, like a little bit more from the guards, especially from Kobe White. He had a good game against Portland, but he had some rough games earlier. And it also brings back to the earlier point, like, is point guard his actual position that he should be playing? So, like, that's another thing, is, like, you expect more from the guards, but at the same time, like, should the Bulls go out and acquire, like, another point guard? Like, is Kobe White better suited as a two? But then you start to have questions about Zach LaVine's future. So Chicago's kind of in a tough fit where they're kind of asking Kobe White to do things that are not exactly, like, in his skill set, but they are things that, like, if Kobe White did get better at playmaking, it would really much open up the Chicago team and probably open up his potential. But yeah, like you said, like there's no exact like real quote unquote superstar for the Bulls, which I think kind of leads to like these late game decisions, like where like against OKC, they blew the lead. It was they were about to go into overtime. They had one last shot, but they didn't have it in the hands of Zach LaVine. And that's sort of the things. It's like Chicago doesn't have that one superstar like you could say Portland has with Dame, where it's like, give him the ball, everyone get out of the way, and if I make the shot, I make the shot because that's what I do. So I think that's sort of the thing. Chicago's still looking for their superstar. LaVine's a great player. I don't know if he is their superstar, quote unquote, right now. He certainly is in terms of like scoring, but I think this is just another thing for Chicago, in that like they have to get better guard play, because you see at Portland like how far they've gone with just two elite guards and an elite superstar.
Guys, we're joined by VJ Venmo from SB Nation, talking a little Bulls basketball right here on Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Hey, VJ, let me ask you this. As I want to get to Kobe White, because that was the first time he scored, 20 points in 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm,
I was a Kobe White guy at North Carolina, at UNC. I wanted Kobe over Garland. I was happy that he fell to the Bulls.
Yeah.
But this is a question, and it's really more about where is the organization. I guess where would you prefer the organization to be? So when you're looking at Kobe White, and you're saying that we know right now that it's a lot going on in his head, either be true to himself and his talents, go out there and score, or try to run an offense, improve, and try to grow into something on the fly. And even if with Mo Cheeks and Billy Donovan, it's only been less than 20 games, basically. So, and with no real preseason, no training camp or whatever. So it's going to take a minute to really get this going with how the pandemic has done everything. But do you sit there right now, and you brought up perhaps what a point guard could do for this team? Do you move and bring in some vet that doesn't cost you a lot, but can cost you a little bit, but then it may hinder Kobe White's growth because you would put him on the bench? You wouldn't start him over Zach unless you move Zach, and that's for a whole nother question. Oh, so do you win right now and try to make some noise because you look at perhaps that benefits these players that are here? Or do you, with fresh eyes on this team, as Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley, take your time to really figure out what's here and don't push the button and hasten the pace, because you may sit there and get rid of something and get rid of a player that in the future may be more valuable than what you think he is right now?
Yeah, certainly. I don't know if I would trade for a veteran point guard. If I were to trade for a point guard, I'd probably, like Chicago would like to take like a chance on a younger point guard. Like I'll throw out a name like maybe Lonzo Ball, like maybe try a guy like that, a guy who can distribute, get guys in the right places to score. Because like Lonzo Ball does have some flaws as a player, but one flaw he doesn't have is he can get the ball to guys. He's a good distributor. But like you said, like it is a risk, and that's like the weird thing heading into the season. Even with the pandemic and all, it was going to be a weird season for the Bulls because they really didn't make much offseason moves outside of drafting Patrick Williams and getting Garrett Temple. It was sort of like an evaluation year, like you said, with Arturas Karnisovas. So I think I would like for them to still give Kobe White a chance. But I think the one thing that is kind of not like kind of been shown with Arturas Karnisovas and what he said and stuff like that is kind of like he does he really owe the rest of this Bulls core anything in terms of like what they have going forward? Like I said, I would give Kobe White another shot, but if they do like move for like a younger point guard who's a better ball distributor, I think that's fine. But it does, like you said, it raises a lot of questions about the future. If the Bulls do end up moving for a point guard, like you said, like I would start asking a lot of questions about the future of some of the guys on the team, for sure.
You know, one of the guys that I was really happy to see kind of go off is Lowry. Lowry's been, you know, he's been the talk of conversation, talk of trade conversation, and moving him, talk of him being, you know, maybe one of the big three if he can get his game together. Where do you see him? Because there are times like the other day on Saturday, like he just looked like a man. He looks like a man among boys at times, and then other times he looks soft as baby poo. So, and it's just everywhere in between. That's where his game is. And where do you think this guy goes? And do you think that moving him might be a good idea to see what haul we can get back?
I think I would be open to that. Listen, I think Lowry's a really good player. Like you said, he shows it's like a wave. Like you get one highs and lows with Lauri Markkanen. We saw this last year, so this isn't like some like new thing that we're seeing with Lauri Markkanen in terms of like he'll like take a lot of shots, he'll make a lot of threes. Like he hit 6 threes against Portland. Like that's what you need from Lauri Markkanen. But like there's also times where like he'll take like 0 shots and a half, and you're wondering like where the guy is on the court. So I think, like you said, like it's a bunch of high and lows. And going back to my earlier point, like Arturas Karnisovas, this is just like a evaluation year. So if they do decide that Lauri Markkanen isn't the power forward for the future, maybe it's Patrick Williams. I think I would be open to moving him. The fact that they didn't really sign him to an extension is kind of like an open sign. Like, yeah, they could probably still re-sign him in the summer, but the fact that the two sides didn't hammer out the deal early on shows you that there may be a bit of hesitancy from Chicago side. And quite honestly, like I don't know if you exactly blame them for that. Like Lauri Markkanen hasn't been like exactly the best player version of himself, as you could say, when they drafted him. So I think I would be open to moving Lauri Markkanen, like if a package exists, because like the prototype of his player, like a stretch 4, like that can get you a lot of value. Because there has to be like teams in the league that do value big shooting. So if the right offer comes to the Bulls, like I'm sure they would probably think about taking it. No,
it's a sad state of affairs. Because the question I was going to ask you to follow up what Shawn just said, and you kind of answered it, was would you move him instead of letting him walk? And if you asked me 3 to 4 years ago, let's just say March of his first season, I would have smacked you in the face. Not you, but just someone saying it, right? Just because the potential that was there, he was untradeable to me at that point. It was like, oh, no, of course not. He went up to New York. He faced Porzingis, and Porzingis had a better game, but you saw Lowry as a player that wouldn't be as injury-prone as Porzingis. And Porzingis is just a freak when you're talking about a 7-footer or whatever. But the question is, like, now, if he walked at the end of the year, and I hate that, I'd be like, yeah. But and I was going to ask you, would you try to get something? And you basically said it, try to get something now for him, especially so some other team would basically have his rights, and they could be the team that, since he's a restricted free agent, can lock him down, and they can get another year out of him, and they could view it instead of just letting him walk. But let me still stick with that. If there are players, is your core, BJ? What's your core players that you want to see here next year, and who are outside of Patrick Williams, because he's going to be here? And who are the players that now you're kind of like, you know what, if they move on from it, it really doesn't bother me that much?
I think my core, I think certainly Patrick Williams, obviously, like you said. Zach LaVine, I think, has shown a lot of great potential. At the beginning of the season, I was sort of like, listen, if the Bulls move LaVine at the best price, so be it. Like that's probably for the best. He's better suited as like a number 2. He could be a really good player on like a playoff team, but I don't know if that playoff team is Chicago. But now the way he's shooting, the way he's sort of showing better ball distribution, I'm like kind of like, does Chicago really have to move Zach LaVine? Is there like a chance that like like another superstar player looks at Chicago and sees like, oh, Zach LaVine's like a really good number 2. I should probably come here. I think Kobe White, I don't know, like it's been a little like I think it's a little too early, but I don't know if he's still a 2, so maybe if you move him eventually, I wouldn't be too upset. I think the 3 I'd go is like LaVine, Williams, and Wendell Carter. I think those are the 3 players. Sorry,
injury prone Wendell. Injury prone.
Yeah, I would. I still have a little bit of hope for Wendell Carter because when he was healthy, he was really good. He had
when is the operative phrase? That's the operative word. When
basically, yeah, it's starting to get a little bad. Because right, you think he's out for 4 weeks and then he becomes with a reevaluation. Reevaluation is a tough word because like
he's contusion, BJ. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. I play with a broken rib, cracked rib, and I have a bruise. I've never had a bruise, and I played football for 30 years in my life. I've never had a bruise
that kept you out of a game.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it's tough, like, because the potential's there, right? Like we've seen, like the potential. Like he's like Chicago's best defender. I think interiorly, he shows that he can be a good guy, playing at the top of the key, like distributing. But like you said, he's literally he hasn't played more than like an X amount of games in like his entire career. Like even as a rookie, he was missing so many games. So I think like that's like it's still like a little tough one, but I mean I would stick it out with Wendell Carter. But I think Williams and LaVine are like the 2 ones where you're like, I think those are the guys that are locked in. I don't know about Markkanen, but with White, it's still up in the air.
VJ, let me ask you this real quick because I think because Wendell Carter is such a good person, he gets a pass, and there's nothing wrong with being a great person.
Yeah.
But I want to bounce this back at you because there were rumors perhaps that you could move Wendell and move up in the draft. There was perhaps the Golden State rumor for Wiseman, and that was valid about a little bit. But do you hold on to Wendell until it's proof around the league that he's injury prone, or do you still try to recoup something from value because around the league people don't really know exactly what I feel like we're finding out here?
I think you could still actually get a lot from Wendell Carter because if you think about like the prototype that was thrown out, I know he's not like exactly the best player right now, but like if you think about him when he was really good, Al Horford, like that was the comp that people were throwing. Like Al Horford was a really good player for those Boston Celtics.
I loved him. Yeah,
like it wasn't
Atlanta.
Yeah,
Florida.
It wasn't a guy that was like a superstar or like an all-star. Like if when people were talking about Al Horford being like a really good player, like that's probably like the ceiling, like not like all-star superstar, but like that's probably like the ceiling for Wendell Carter, and that's like a really good player. That's like a really good 3 or like on like a team that can make the conference finals. I feel like so like you said, if teams probably haven't looked around like the injury report for a couple of weeks, they could probably get like some value back for Wendell Carter. But I think he still does have value because like it's the same thing with Lauri Markkanen in terms of like the prototype of the player that you're looking for, and Wendell Carter like is there. Like if Wendell Carter wasn't injury prone, I think we would like obviously like him a lot more because like the things that he brings to the table. But like we just literally don't see it because he's literally not on the floor. So like you said, like I do agree. Like if Chicago, I think at the beginning of the draft season, I was sort of against trading him for number 2. I was like vehemently against it. I was like, no, you, like that's the one guy you probably shouldn't be trading the core. But now I'm sort of like, well, if Golden State came back to you with number 2 again, they're like, hey, here's a chance for a redo. You don't have to take Wiseman, but like you can literally take anyone else. Like here's number 2 for Wendell Carter. I think I would take it. Like, no, why not? Right? Because what's the worst? You take a LaMelo Ball like that. Like that wouldn't be terrible at all. Like look at the way
your point guard situation will be set.
Exactly. Your point guard situation is set. He's been fantastic for Charlotte. So I mean, I would certainly think a lot harder about a trade for Wendell Carter. Certainly.
You know, Patrick Williams is a guy who's far exceeded my expectations. I was one of the guys unaware of him, but there's times where he seems to be a little soft. And I'm starting to fear that he's a little injury prone too. Give me your thoughts on his play to this point, but also does he need to toughen up with, because there's just so many of these little ticky-tack injuries that they're really stunting the growth of players and getting their experience on the court experience. There's nothing like in-game experience.
No summer league though. No summer league, Shawn.
I agree, which makes this even more important that he gets time here. You know what I mean? That he's in these games and he can't be sitting around with a little hangnail or something, or a little contusion. Someone hurt me in the ribs and it hurts. No, play. You're getting millions of dollars. Play the God blessed game.
Yeah. Sort of to Ken's point, it's kind of like I think for the rookies, at least with Patrick Williams and guys like that, I'm willing to give them a little bit more of the pass because like they had 1 month to prepare for the season from when they were drafted. So yeah, like I'll give them a little bit more time than I would normally rookies. And like rookies do hit the rookie wall because like he was a guy who didn't start at Florida State, and all of a sudden now he's starting in the NBA. So like that's like a kind of like a big jump. Like even though people were like, oh, we played 26 minutes a games, it was 26 minute game. He averaged X, Y, and Z. He was in like he was in the closing lineups for Florida State. Like that's still a pretty big jump. Going from guarding guys that play for like North Carolina State to like guarding LeBron and Kawhi on back-to-back nights, like that's like a really big jump. Like you said, like I really do like his play. I think he's shown a lot of good things. Like number one, he was able to like hold his own against LeBron and even got like the cosign after the game, which kind of does mean something. I feel like for one of the best player in the league to recognize your talents. I do like him taking threes. I think that's a really good sign. His pull-up jumper game is really nice. The shot looks very, very smooth. Even I would say it's better than his three-point shot. It looks a lot better. He's shown a little bit more willingness to get to the rim. I think he's still 19, so his body will probably grow. I think one full like NBA off season should really probably like show us where he's at in terms of like getting stronger. Because like I said, like he does need to get stronger. Because it was kind of like the same problem that we have with Laurie at the beginning of his career, where you're like, oh, like not like obviously Patrick Williams is a better defender than Laurie Markkinen. I can say that. But like he's sort of like getting bullied off the ball a little bit. But so I think like with like an off-season training program, Patrick Williams could probably pick it up. But yeah, I think it's nice so far. There's a lot of flashes where you're like, oh, this guy could really be really good if he decides, like, if all the things come together.
Dude, I'm telling you, if he is one guy that I think is going to be a star, Patrick Williams, maybe even a superstar, but I think he's destined to be a star because the one thing I love about him is his fundamentals. He's so fundamentally sound. And you couple that with the talent that he has, put all the talent that he has on top of his fundamentals being so solid. I mean, how many times we've seen it? The guy's played 12 games already. I don't know what's the record. 7, 11, 18 games. Yeah. All right, you've seen him come up, kiss it off the glass. You've seen him box people out. You've seen him with good bounce passes. And I know it sounds bounce pass. He's a smart pass. He makes a smart play more often than not. And just that alone will keep you in the NBA if you make a smart play and don't turn the ball over. But he's got immense talent behind that, or I should say on top of it. Man, I think this guy could be one of the guys that we always want to look for a big three. I think it'd be Zach. I think him. I also think Kobe White can get to that point too. Yeah. And then if Laurie Markkinen if he ever grows a pair on a consistent basis, now you got 4 dudes on this team who you really can't cover because their skill set is each of their skill sets are so different.
Yeah, certainly. Like you said with Patrick Williams, the fundamentals. I think another thing that points to how good he is how he makes really quick decisions. If you notice Patrick Williams, he like makes a decision within like the first like 5 or 10 seconds. He's like, I'm either I'm gonna dribble this ball and drive, I'm gonna pass it really quickly, or I'm gonna shoot. Like he never like holds the ball. You never see him like even for a rookie, that's pretty good. Like you never see him like look confused on the court when he holds the ball. So I like that he gets the ball moving. Like there's nothing stagnant about Patrick Williams' game. Like he keeps things moving. Like so the fundamentals, like he's one of the guys that like consistently box out. Like you see it, like even as a rookie, like and the fact that you don't have to really like help him teach these things, I think really does help. And I think it's really good that like the Bulls sort of, at least from like the first 20 games, like recapping, they kind of hit on the pick already, you could say. Like, like obviously it's like a 20 game sample. But like it's really good returns. And I think like he was obviously like a high riser in the draft. Like he literally came out of nowhere, you could say. Like he was like, it's like the hype was like a week at most that the Bulls are going to take him, and literally the Bulls like, oh, we're going to take him. Everyone thought they were going to take like a Halliburton or a Okoro or Avdija, or even Killian Hayes, but like they sort of reached for the pick, and I think it's sort of paid dividends so far. So like you said, like he looks like a guy that could be a star, and that's a win for Chicago taking him at number 4.
Thank God they didn't have the NCAA tournament, because if we had had the tourney,
it could have been a lot different.
Yeah, it would have been.
I was going to point out too, as far as when you were saying earlier, Shawn, about him not being strong enough, that he didn't play in the tournament either, because that would have been the first playoffs he would have had. Because this, in a way, is like the playoffs to him as far as the level that is stepped up with better players. But Vijay, I want to ask you this: can you talk to people around the league? What kind of retooling or rebuilding are they doing as far as his management and with this coach? Got a coach that could have had probably plenty of jobs in the NBA. Didn't want to rebuild. Maybe he didn't want to rebuild with St. Prestio's, just trying to get out of OKC. But you wouldn't think that Billy Donovan signed on for 3 years of toiling, looking for draft picks. But when you look at Arturas Karnisovas, it seems like one of the best skill sets, at least we hope, is acquiring draft picks. And also, I would hate for the last regime's failures to push a panic button or panic button be forced upon this regime to, one, not let them use their talents, but two, to hasten them and maybe make them do something they don't need to do. Do you see them? Is the plan to hopefully, and of course, if some player wanted to come here, quote unquote, from us talking to different people of Kawhi, that's the wish list. Which he's not coming, everybody. Yeah. But like, is it that one wish that a player comes here? Is it one that, and again, he's better than Zach LaVine, but you look at his contract. Is it go after a Bradley Beal, and then either hope that he can be the player that one brings other players here, or he's good enough to rising tides raises all ships. Well, bring those other parts and rise them up. But what is the direction you think or you've heard that they're going to do? Is it going to be a slow walk, or is it going to be, you know what, we're going to sit there and try to do this as fast as possible?
This is just me thinking, but I think that like they probably want. I don't know. I think Chicago is trying to like explore all angles. At least that's what they've seemed like they've been doing from their moves. Like they obviously, like you said, they haven't made like a lot of moves in the offseason, but like they were at least in talks, like trading the draft pick. Like at least the thing I like with this new regime is like it's sort of like no stone left unturned. Like with like Garpax, you kind of knew what they were doing. Like 5 days before the draft, you're like, oh, they're going to draft this guy.
Yeah, Wendell Carter.
Yep, right there, Wendell, Kobe White, like right there. Like you knew it from the minute. Like from all the mock drafts, like, oh, they're drafting this guy. Oh, okay. You sort of know what they were doing, the prototypical type of guys that they were like, the moves that they would make. And you know, like there were certain moves that the Garpax wouldn't make, but you don't know that with Karnisovas and Mark Eversley. So like it's, I think that's the sort of thing is, if like a good deal comes, probably they take it. Like they like alluding to my point earlier, like I don't think they really owe this core that comes over from Garpax. I don't think they really own much because if you look at this roster and a lot of it is like obviously all of them, most of them are from Garpax. So if they do move on from guys, you wouldn't hold it against them. I don't know with the direction of this team. I think they should probably take it slow, right? Because like the last rebuild certainly didn't work because it's what we keep going back to this move, but like this is the move that sort of set things in motion, like the Jimmy Butler trade. Like where are they in terms of where they were when they traded Jimmy? And to be honest, they're sort of at the same level. Like they were like really bad for the past couple of years. Part of that is Boylan, part of that was the roster, and now they're like sort of like a little bit better, right? With a better coach, like you said, in Billy Donovan. I really hope Billy Donovan didn't sign on for being a coach for 3 bad years. I hope he probably asked them to be a little bit more competitive, and he does get a lot out of his teams. Like you look what he did at OKC, like that roster. Like Chris Paul was there, yes, but like that roster outside of Chris Paul and Shea. Wasn't exactly like the best roster, but he got a lot of them. Like they made the playoffs, and they were like they were a tough out in the playoffs, I'd say, for Houston. But I think with Chicago, I think they should probably take it slow. But can the fan base go through another rebuild is another question you should probably ask. Because like this is like the second time around. Because like we were saying before, like it's the core is what Levine, Pat, and Kobe White, and that's like excluding 2 of the young guys that that's been drafted in the past 5 years. So I would like to think Chicago is still aggressive in trades because we've been talking about like value and flipping guys. Like let's say like Washington like really have values like Lauri Markkanen and like a draft pick. Like would you be, or like in Wendell Carter, would you be like opposed to like trading them for Bradley Beal? Of course not. So I think, yeah, like it's sort of like thank you for the memories, but like you like would you like you understand, right? Like you would understand. It's like what Jared Allen said about the James Harden trade. Like, yeah, I would do it 100% if I was the Nets. I think they would understand too. So I think like with the Bulls, like they're still sort of in this like a weird like talent evaluation phase. I think like I would like them to do more moves, certainly in the summer.
Guys, he's VJ Vemo from SB Nation. Hey, great stuff, Papa. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
You can find my work at bloggable.com. We have pieces about every Bulls game that's being played, preview recaps, day after posts. We have it. You can follow me on Twitter at VJ Vemu. Follow if you like. Thank you once again for having me. It's always a blast to come on.
Hey,
talk Bulls.
No problem. One quick question. Last question.
Mm-hmm.
They got the New York Knickerbockers tonight. Your thoughts on that team? Because the Knickerbockers have been a joke for the last couple of seasons, and all of a sudden they got a some guy over there. I think I know him, probably Thibodeau or something or other.
Yeah.
And they're playing some good defense, and they're starting to turn around. Give me your thoughts on tonight's game with the Knicks.
The Knicks are decent. It's like the Tibbs effect, right? It's like we saw with Chicago, like next man up. We will drag you to like an X amount of wins. I think this is a big game, big 2 games for Chicago, because like if you think about it, like the teams that are sort of going to be fighting for like that play-in spots, like should be Chicago and New York. So like these are the games that you have to win for Chicago if you want to be like serious, because like I think they're 2 games off New York in the win column. Like New York is 9 wins, Chicago is 7. So like if you win both of these games, you're right back in it. But if you lose both of these games, then you're looking at like 7-13, and you're sort of like we need to like go on a run now. So I think these are like big games. And obviously the game against Portland was soul crushing. But the last time they lost like that to OKC, they reeled off 3 straight. So like at least you got to hope Chicago bounces back and shows that like they can't let these losses set them on losing streaks.
All right, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll be in touch soon, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, we got to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, Kenneth and I, we're going to talk the big trade in the NFL. We're going to talk by lefty staying on the south side. We got a few things to talk, so don't go anywhere, folks.
Calling him lefty now? All right, good.
Carlos Rodon, baby.
We got a nickname? He's got okay.
So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here, Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. A 2-goal third period lifted the Blackhawks past the Blue Jackets 3-1 on Sunday. Goals from Patrick Kane, Philip Kurashev, and Pia Sutter, while Kevin Lankinen made 32 saves in net. The Blackhawks improved to 1-1 on a 4-game homestand after losing 2-1 to the Blue Jackets on Friday night. The Hawks had been winless in 3. The Hawks with a sorely needed win a day after the team canceled practice due to COVID-19 concerns. Ryan Carpenter and Nicholas Bowden were placed on the NHL's COVID list, joining teammates Alex DeBrincat, Adam Boquist, and Lucas Wallmark. The Bulls are home tonight hosting the Knicks. Chicago coming off a 123-122 home loss against the Blazers on Saturday. They'll look to snap a 3-game slide tonight. The Bulls and Knicks also play again Wednesday night at United Center. This update brought to you by the Score app. Download the free Score app today. It's one of the most popular sports apps in North America. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Breathe out and repeat after me. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Your bird is eating my candles.
Your bird is eating my candles.
No, seriously, he's making a mess.
No, seriously.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Everything good over there, Papa? We good?
Did the audio? Did the audio come out? Oh my gosh! All right, no, well, back on this day in 1993.
Yeah, that was back in 1993. That was Michael Jackson at the Super Bowl. That was dope, man. I mean, let's keep it real. Michael was he could entertain. He can entertain.
Greatest entertainer perhaps of all time. So as far as all around, I mean, I'm a Prince guy.
Me too.
I'm a Prince guy. So but I get that, Mike is Mike. You know what I'm saying? I'll have my Prince. Like, see, sometimes it's like when you talk about your favorite, all right? Now, I could say, Prince is a virtuoso, could play all these instruments, throughout these songs, whatever. And Mike could go, but Prince could, get on the bass and get down. But still, I get the world places Mike to that plateau which he has earned and deserved. And I also have a hot take while I'm talking.
What's the hot take?
And I've said this plenty of times before on my own platforms, but Chris Brown is a better dancer than Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson did repeated a lot of the same steps.
See, I rock with you, Shawn. He was doing the same stuff for 35 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And grab the groin, little grind.
Yeah.
And I think MC Hammer was a better dancer than Michael Jackson. Pure dancer.
I could agree with that. It's funny. I remember when there was talks back. It was around Super Bowl time, I think, too. It was maybe like '92, and it was like this was like when Too Legit was out, and it was like, let's go at it. And I was like, Hammer. I was like, Mike, I don't know if you could take Hammer now. Like, yeah. But Hammer was doing workout stuff too, though.
Dude, he was. Dude, how he did not have a six pack, I have no idea. Because that was straight cardio, and he was like, and he's dancing, and he's going across the stage. Too legit to quit. Hi.
We definitely aged ourselves with that, but yeah, it's just a hot take for that. Now, not a better entertainer or as great. I'm just saying it's dancer. That's all.
Yeah, pure dancer. Yes,
just pure dancer.
Yeah. So, man. Talk to me, dude. What are you thinking about this trade?
Listen,
it's Stafford for two
the kitties. You did what you need to do, kitties. All right. When you can get dog, I'm telling you. And I like Matthew Stafford. It isn't a chance in hell I would have given you a 1. All right, for Matthew Stafford. Now that's a low 1. And I mean, let me put it like this: if I was the Bears, I don't know, I would have given you a 1. I'm lying. All right, because there's such dire needs. I wouldn't want them to give a 1 because. With Matthew Stafford, you need a Sean McVay and that defense to get what you really want to get to. I think they have a chance if he stays healthy. I don't think if you just insert Matthew Stafford with this Bears, with defense still good, but not as good as it used to be, and with Matt Nagy being the guy calling the plays, that he's going to be able to, I won't say unlock Matthew Stafford, but aid Matthew Stafford is what I want to say, like a Sean McVay. But for the Lions to get 2 1s, and I know they had to accept a Jared Goff deal, but man, you did very well. Because listen, last year, man, when they were sitting there talking, like for the last 2 years, they've been talking about moving off of Matthew Stafford. And because it's the connection to New England, we heard perhaps that he would have ended up being a replacement for Brady. Since he's healthy, we know he can go deep, right? But I didn't think a year ago or 2 years ago, someone was going to give up a 1. I mean, like that's a 1-1, but 2 1s, dude. Listen, Detroit messes up a lot. But man, that was funny. I saw this meme out about how Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders was looking at the Detroit Lions because they gave free to Stafford, and those guys had to retire to get up out of there. Still, man, and then to sit there, and I know I'm not just jumping into it. We still talk about the Stafford trade, but what you sent this morning, as far as what the Deshaun deal is, listen, I don't know what Houston is doing, and I know they got the cat that came over from New England down there now as the general manager. But listen, I would still be trying to get 3 1s at least, and still get 2 young defensive players. Now, your article you sent was 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 young defensive players. Dude, listen, I guess you know what I'm saying, because I think you can get more than that as far as draft capital value for Deshaun Watson, if that's what you're necessarily selling for. Because once you saw that Stafford got 2 1s. That I was like, whoa, what's the Deshaun deal going to look like? But what did you think when you saw that deal transpire this weekend?
I thought it was way too much for Matthew Stafford. I like Matthew Stafford, but it says the Rams are in it to win it right now.
Mm-hmm. If you're on that defense, you're happy that they did that too.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that for the Bears. That Deshaun Watson deal. So looking at the deal that happened, I was annoyed. Like, damn! Like now, Sean McVay got a quarterback that he really likes. Because remember, everyone thought that Jared Goff was a dude, and then you realize that he couldn't read defenses, and that McVay was actually telling him what defenses they were running, and that's why. And then you got rid of Todd Gurley, although they still have some good running backs now, because running backs are a dime a dozen, so they got some running backs. But you still that quarterback position wasn't set, so he got his guy. Again, they had picks, they had those to give, and they were willing to do it. So the Rams are looking to win now. And then I thought of the Bears, like, what are they going to do? And then when I saw what Texas is offering, I'm like, frick you, dude, get out of here. I'm not giving you 2 1s, 2 2s, and 2 players. All right, just because they ask for it doesn't mean you give it to them. Okay, because if Jalen Johnson, say you give, I'm okay with giving Eddie Jackson and Jalen Johnson. I'm okay, but if you expect me to give you 2 1s, 2 2s, and those 2 guys, you can go kiss your. Yeah, you can kiss my ass. I'm sorry, because Jalen Johnson is a young stud. Okay, and then you're getting a first team All-Pro safety. Granted, he had a bad year, but he's had 2 good years. And then you want me to give you 2 picks, so I can't even replenish what I'm giving you on the defensive side of the ball because you're taking 2 1s and 2 2s. So and luckily for the Bears, Ryan Pace is good at 3 through 7. Okay. But give me a number 1 pick. Give me a number 2 pick that I know that I can plug and play in right here. And we don't have that now because we wouldn't have that if we make that deal, because 2 1s, 2 2s. I mean, the years weren't said, because
that's what I was about to say. Like, one, we don't know if you can stagger that. So you don't, those the 2 next seasons, you don't have 4 picks straight going, but we don't know that. So I agree with that. But hell yeah, I'm giving that up. Listen, it sounds better to me than giving you 3 1s. And like the defense, listen, I thought about that. Jalen Johnson would be one of the guys. I can find another Jalen Johnson. All right. I don't know if they would take Eddie Jackson
and his shoulder too. So if
maybe, but no, true, his shoulder. But Eddie Jackson, I don't know, one, because Eddie Jackson's deal. Like when they say young players, I think particularly they're saying guys that are on their younger deals or the value. Saying like it could be an Eddie Goldman. Not to say that you want to, but still, his contract isn't necessarily it's not hurting you. But no, dude. And again, this is the situation. Like Shawn, and let me just run it from how I think you're kind of saying it, because I kind of feel you. If we thought that this organization could do right, no, because that's too much, right? Because you'd be like, man, I got a good defense. If I get it, like we kept saying from this whole season, if you luck up on just a guy, this guy wasn't a world beater, but just for one season, if you get what we're trying to say, if you look up on a Mark Anderson, you're not even looking for this guy to stop the run. You're just looking for somebody else to provide edge rush, all right, and just go. This guy, all he does is go. You got Eddie Goldman coming back, so there's going to be more push up the middle, all right, and that's going to help all the DBs and everybody, even Eddie Jackson, who we're not even high on anymore, right? But the problem is we don't necessarily believe that's going to take place, right? And when you're in a situation with the team that they win by inches instead of having a superstar player on there that could just throw you out so far that it can cover up so much of the stink as far as Jalen Johnson being gone, not having number 1s or whatever. Because one, you don't have to look for a quarterback anymore, right? So you sit there, depending on how the deal is structured, maybe you'll be able to hold on to your receiver, because I'm sure he wouldn't come here if he didn't know the receiver. So on top of that, I don't think Deshaun Watson wants to come here. Let me say that too. I don't believe this is at the top of his list of teams that he wants to come to. But for me personally, when I saw that's what they wanted, and I thought and I'll end on this. I thought when it was 3 1s, well, if it's already 3 1s, somebody's going to have to do more than that to beat out everybody else, right? And particularly if you're a team like the Bears, where the Jets and the Dolphins have high draft picks, and you got 20, you got the picks in the 20s, you're going to have to entice in this deal. All right. So that was my thought. But when you telling me you just want 2 1s and 2 second rounders, and I could get us another second rounder. Right. All right. I can get back into the second round. All right. At least one of these years, you know what I'm saying? I can get back into the second round, but that's what you want. And I could have a stud and cover up what my biggest inefficiency. No, I would do it. And I'm not saying, like, again, if they were run properly, no. But since they're messed up and they're giving these fools another chance, yeah, I'd do it.
I think staggering, you mentioned that if you could stagger, so for 4 years, this year you get my first, next year you get my second, third year you get my first, fourth year you get my second. If you could stagger those, then now we're cooking with gas. And that's something I can do, because we're still gonna have a first or second round in each draft. Okay, and as a team, wouldn't you want that? And I know, because having all those picks now, it really is going to stress your cap. And I know they're all rookies, but you get, first of all, it's a little higher guarantee when you have a first or second higher contract for a first or second year. So if you stagger it first round, second round, first round, second round, it'll kind of help you with your cap and kind of help you manage that for a team. I think that would be a little more I think I was going to say efficient for teams and say, hey, I can, because now I know I got 2 1s. Next year I got 2 2s, or depending on what they have. Next year, the following year I got 2 1s, and the following year I got 2 2s. And if that's something that you need, you know what I mean, that's draft capital for them too. If they want to make a move. So when you put it that way, Ken, yeah, thanks for giving me that angle. Because if we could stagger it, then I'm okay with 2 1s, 2 2s, and the 2 players. I'm okay with it.
You want to find out what Rappaport said, Shawn?
Yeah, let's listen to what they talked about.
This really was several weeks in the makings for both teams. You have the Detroit Lions were set to have this with Matthew Stafford amicable, but clearly this was something where both sides believed they would be better off separate. And then you have the Jared Goff situation with the Los Angeles Rams. Clearly they were set to move on from him as well. Had he remained on the team, he would have had to compete in training camp. That was not going to happen for a former franchise starter. So these two teams started talking, really, guys, the perfect storm of interest. You wondered, how much would they actually be able to get for Matthew Stafford? The response, a lot. More than a first-round pick. In fact, several teams had more than a first-rounder, from the Broncos to the Panthers to the Bears in the division. Indy, the 49ers inquired, Patriots inquired. A lot of teams were interested, but Matthew Stafford wanted to be in LA, wanted to be in the Rams, and clearly, Tom, the Lions wanted Jared Goff as well.
So more than
they gave him 2. Yeah. So that was
in the division, the Bears don't have to give up a first. In the division, they were going to have to give up a first.
Well, that was from the NFL Network, and courtesy of that clip for you guys. But yeah, in the division, because you always got to screw your guys in the division, because you never want to.
It was going to be a 1. It was going to be a 1. And listen, Elway's always looking for a quarterback because he's up there messing up when it comes to the QB position. So he was going to give up a 1. You know what I'm saying? But I think, too, the problem is, one, and again, by no means is Matthew Stafford on Tom Brady's level. But people are looking at, you know what, man, let me get a good quarterback, and I already got this, and look at where you can go. Look at Tampa being a team that wasn't even in the playoffs last year, but still offensively, outside of their quarterback having a 30 for 30, yards-wise, had a good year. You know what I'm saying? Look at what they did, and if I can do that, just to pose that on my team, so it rose the value of Stafford. But man, still, that's a haul. I mean, if you can have a quarterback at that age who, and again, it's not on Stafford, a lot of the losing, but still hasn't been a perennial winner, and you can come away with 2 1s, man, you cooking with grease right there, partner. Like to say to me like that, I still props. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know about Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? I guess, but then it also speaks to what are they going to do? Are they drafting a quarterback? Maybe they are drafting a quarterback that's still just going to let that quarterback sit a year behind Goff. But man, that's sweet. And again, see, this is my problem with the Bears too. And this is what I fear the Bears are going to do. The Bears are going to be like, man, we tried. When all the quarterback carousel ends, they're going to be like, man, we really tried. Or if they even end up with somebody and that person is less than what we desire, it's like, we was in on Stafford. We was in on Deshaun, man. They just didn't want to make the deal with us. Or the player didn't want to come here. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be the excuse they use because they keep putting their name out there. But are they going to get it and get it done? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you felt like that, for instance, now, as they just pointed out, that the Stafford said he wanted to go there. Stafford should want to go to a warmer climate with a coach that we know is one of the better coaches, in a top 10 coach, it seems like, in Sean McVay, getting that much out of Jared Goff. He should want to go there. But did you offer them, like, you know what? I'll give you 2 1s and a 3. You know, so like, if you like, how far are you willing to go if you really are saying you're trying to get it done? Because I feel like they're going to put their ankle in the water enough and then come back and tell me they went swimming. And it's like, nah, son, you didn't get out there and really go deep and try to do it. And I feel like they're going to use the media, and they're going to try to spin it next season when they come back with Mitch or a quarterback that's less desirable.
Yeah, listen, let's bring out our guy. It's he's going to take over the last half hour, but let's have a little crosstalk with him. He's the co-host of What's Up, Cuz, with his cousin Lancey Irvin, who's a birthday boy today. So make sure
happy
you guys...
birthday.
No, it's not Jason. Lance.
I know it's Lance.
Oh, okay.
It's carried on later.
Okay. That's why I was going to say, hey, tell him I said happy birthday. Tell him I said, okay. And you can find him on Twitter at JCorden. Let's bring him out. Jason Palmer. Jason, what's up, Papa?
Happy Monday, fellas. What's going on?
Happy Lance Irvin birthday. How you doing?
Yeah, his birthday today, and looking forward to a good birthday show with him tonight. And man, it finally stopped snowing in Wisconsin. I don't know what it's doing in Chicago.
It stopped snowing out in the South Burbs, yeah.
Man, that was an interesting weekend. Just stayed inside with the wife and watched Netflix and played games all weekend. So, yeah, man, it was wild, man. So y'all really talking about what's up?
Real quick, speaking of snow. So I took this to family. I said, let's do the snow yesterday, right? And I'm doing the backyard and I'm doing the whole garage. And an old lady gets down, right? And we're sitting there doing the backyard, and I helped somebody down the alley. And I got to take breaks. It was wet snow. So finally she had to take a break. And I'm telling them, like, listen, stop. Because usually you want to take like a 15-second break. And out there, you got to take like 2 minutes. And when we got back in the crib, she's like, my lungs just don't feel good. And I was like, that's what happens when I'm out there doing that all the time, right? That's all. Please go ahead, Jason. When you brought up the snow, I did want to say that. So I just want to say that.
You're right, man. I mean, I had posted on my Facebook page for everybody to be careful because that was that heart attack snow out there, man. That wasn't no snow you play around with. So, everybody got to be careful with that. But, I'm laughing. I heard the Deshaun Watson talk, and I know the Stafford is a big deal, but I don't think the Bears, first of all, had the gumption, nor do I think they have the assets necessary to acquire Watson. And y'all were laughing at me 2 weeks ago when I told you I got my cheat team, the Dolphins, and now look who might be getting Deshaun Watson. So I ain't gonna wear my Dolphins jerseys on Shawn's show out of respect. But on What's Up, Cuz, I can't make that promise.
Yeah, you know what? I thought they'd be happy with him, but if you can get a Deshaun Watson over Tua, then I would do that. I don't. Regardless of how good you think Tua is going to be, you already know what Deshaun Watson is, and do you think that Tua can get to the point of or reach the level of a Deshaun Watson? That's a chance. Okay, why take a chance when you know what you already have here? You've seen what this guy's done in college, and not that Tua hasn't done it in college either, because he did. Okay, but he's also done it in Watson's done it here in the league when he's had, when they traded away his running back retired Foster, and then they traded away his number one receiver, and he had nothing, and this guy's still putting up crazy numbers. So you know what this guy has. Imagine putting a team around him again. Yeah, it's definitely an easy deal, and I like Tua. I like him a lot, especially for what for coming back and what he did.
Look, I'm Roll Tide all day, right? And with Tua, I've always kind of been hesitant. I root for him, right? Because I'm Roll Tide. But I've always was like, you know what? Outside of that Georgia game, when it really hits the fan and when the rubber meets the road, I don't necessarily know. And that was a small sample size, and it was during the pandemic last year. But I don't think I don't think Tua's ever going to be Deshaun Watson. I think the question is, how long can Deshaun Watson be Deshaun Watson? Given how hard he plays, I think that's the question. And that maybe the only way Tua can beat him is by having a longer career. But Tua's injury prone also. But if you're telling me that, still going what you're saying, Shawn, if I'm the Texans and I can get Tua and still have all those assets, and next year, if I don't like Tua, I can get back in and look for somebody and maybe able to still use Tua as far as getting some more assets, I make the deal. I think Miami, to me, has the best deal because you're getting the better of the two quarterbacks. If we're saying Sam Darnold and the Jets are involved in this, I don't want any parts of Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? With Tua, I never know. I always question if he can really consistently be great, be really good in the pros. So yeah, I'm moving. I'm getting Deshaun Watson so quick if I'm Miami. And that, as you were saying, Jason, if we all know there was something about race that took place in Houston. All right, we need to stop dancing and tiptoeing around it. Yes, probably broken, but it's also you can look at a Jaundice Iowa's cast when we heard about the baby mamas being told not to come around from DeAndre Hopkins, from Bill O'Brien. We hear about the pastor, a vice president, or whoever, a player who was up in there meddling with his views on whatever. something has taken place where you feel that you've been disrespected, and it's permeated through that organization. And when you look at an organization like Miami with a black general manager and a black head coach, you may as well carry on. And it's Miami.
And black ownership too. Let's not forget they got a lot of minority owners in their franchise too.
Is Serena part of the owner?
Serena and Venus are part of that.
Yeah.
Is J-Lo part of this?
J-Lo is part of it. Yeah, they got
Will Smith.
Wait, go to the
Am I wrong? Will Smith still owns part of the team too, right?
I'm not sure about Will.
Will own part of the team.
But I do know they got a very diverse ownership group. And, we've all been to Miami. Hell, I got to go there in 2 weeks, thank goodness. But Miami is very diverse, and if you're Deshaun Watson and you're asking him, do you want to play in Miami or do you want to play in Chicago where it gets freezing cold by November? Obviously he doesn't have a choice because it won't be a trade. But, you think of a place he would want to sign long term.
He's got a choice.
He's got no trade calls. He got no trade calls. So it's on him.
He can veto anything. Say, what? Get a deal. Get a deal with the Dolphins done.
Lastly, and I know all of us know this, people forget how big Miami was until the early mid-90s when Marino faded out. Like Miami, boy, that's a sleeping giant in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can get Miami going again, they actually in a way. Now they're not the Raiders or the Steelers or definitely not the Dallas, but they still have a national following. From what happened with early in the 70s when they went undefeated until when you're looking at Marino. And so that's a nice place, man. That's not a bad place to land, man. It's pretty good if you chose.
I agree.
No, definitely not. I agree. Hey, Ken, thanks a lot, Papa. Let everybody know when where they can find you online, when your show drops, all that good stuff.
Wednesday and actually show dropping today, the flip. So if you like stuff not necessarily really about sports, it's more about, politics, pop culture and stuff like that. Check out the flip. That'll be out in a few hours. And then Wednesday, we hit you with the sports. Definitely have a great show. Until then, I say happy birthday, everybody watching What's Up, Cuz later on, man. Y'all have a good one, man. I'll see you on Friday.
I will, man. And I have my little political rant on Facebook this morning, so you might want to check it out because you might want to put it on my show.
Oh, don't forget, you're coming on to get interviewed. Oh, listen, the only reason I didn't bring you on is I was like, let me let this inauguration rock for a little bit before we start throwing this fire. I was like, we don't need this week, right? Because last I was like, I'm going to be nice this week, but I'm about to get out of here. But yeah, you're coming on within a week so we can sit there and throw gasoline on all this QAnon nonsense.
Sounds good.
All right. Hey, guys, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, Jason and I are going to take it across the finish line for the last hour. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Hi, this is George Iceman Gervin. I listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning.
012. AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. A 2-goal third period lifted the Blackhawks past the Blue Jackets 3-1 on Sunday. Goals from Patrick Kane, Philip Kurashev, and Pius Sutter, while Kevin Lankinen made 32 saves in net. The Blackhawks improved to 1-1 on a 4-game homestand after losing 2-1 to the Blue Jackets on Friday night. The Hawks had been winless in 3. The Hawks with a sorely needed win a day after the team canceled practice due to COVID-19 concerns. Ryan Carpenter and Nicholas Bowden were placed on the NHL's COVID list, joining teammates Alex DeBrincat, Adam Boquist, and Lucas Wallmark. The Bulls are home tonight hosting the Knicks. Chicago coming off a 123-122 home loss against the Blazers on Saturday. They'll look to snap a 3-game slide tonight. The Bulls and Knicks also play again Wednesday night at United Center. This update brought to you by the Score app. Download the free Score app today. It's one of the most popular sports apps in North America. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Breathe out and repeat after me. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Your bird is eating my candles.
Your bird is eating my candles.
No, seriously, he's making a mess.
No, seriously.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. We just got done with our guy Kenneth Davis from That Davis Show. You know, he sits in with us from 10 to 11 on Mondays and Fridays. This man right here is going to take the baton and run the anchor leg with me from 11 to the end of the show at 12 o'clock. There's a lot of things we want to talk about with us. And I definitely want to get your opinion on it because there's so many things that happen. You know, obviously we'll get to the quarterback thing. We were talking about that, but we both have our White Sox hats on. Give me your thoughts. The White Sox re-signed Carlos Rodon for a 1-year, $3 million deal. Sir Lefty with the nasty slider is back on the South Side for at least one more year. Your thoughts?
You know, when I saw it, I was like, what are we doing? we're going back to Carlos Rodon. So here's my thing. If we do what you and I and Maya have been asking the White Sox to do for the past 2 seasons now, and have him come out of the bullpen as like a long reliever, I'm cool with it. I do not want him in the rotation unless we have a bunch of injuries and we got to use him as an emergency starter. I don't want to take that playing time away from the young pitchers that we have in our system. And we traded for Lance Lynn, which is what I thought he was there to fill the role of losing Rodon. I think Rodon is a great guy. I think that slider is absolutely devastating. But how long are we going to have him? We know he's an injury waiting to happen, which is why I believe bringing him out of the bullpen where you can pitch him less innings but more frequently will be in everyone's best interest. I don't know what the White Sox plans are. I know Steve Stone posted that this was a very good move by the White Sox because they have a new pitching coach. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say he threw Don Cooper under the bus, but he said that, you know, they got a new pitching coach. So give this guy a chance to work with Rodon. So, you know, Steve Stone saying that made me think a little differently because it is Steve Stone. So, you know, if this new pitching coach can really work with Rodon and get him going somewhere, we know how devastating the slider is, Shawn.
Oh, it's disgusting. I think it's illegal in 14 states.
There you go. You know, I also think that his best pitch is also what has caused him so many of the arm problems because of the amount of torque that you got to get on that thing to make it do what he make it does. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, you brought him back. It's not going to hurt you, you know, but the White Sox got a pretty stacked rotation, man. And you and I are both all for competition and letting people fight it out in spring training if there's a spring training.
No, there will be. Oh, yeah. They know they asked to start it. There'll be one. It's just, is it going to start in February, to, you know, from pitchers and catchers report, or are they going to report in March and start playing in April? There's going to be one. Just when is it going to be? You know what? I agree with you to the point that I put them in the bullpen. The White Sox already they are rated the second best bullpen in Major League Baseball, I believe, behind the Yankees. And you add this to the mix, I think that puts them right up there, if not surpasses the Yankees. I mean, you talk about Jace Fry, you talk about Aaron Bummer, you talk about Carlos Rodon, you talk about don't forget Garrett Crochet. All right, I would say keep him in the bullpen as well. You know, you have a lot of guys, and then not to mention the closers as we got. You know, that bullpen is to do. That's the shit right there. That bullpen, and you know, and then we got our rotation. So you know, you got Michael Kopech, or I should say, Lucas Giolito, Dallas Keuchel,
Lance
Lynn that you signed, Michael Kopech coming back, and you have Dylan Cease, and you have
Rolando
Ray
Lopez, yeah.
Ray Lopez. So those guys can fight out for the number 5 spot. And you know what? And I'd even be okay if those two alternated. Okay. This time with number 5, it's Ray. Next time it's Dylan. And who, you know, the first, especially I would like to see that because now there's real competition because you're pitching every 10 days. You're not pitching every 5 days. And you better come with it because they might just say, hey, after 2 bad starts, which is 20 days, like, okay, we're going to give him 2 consecutive starts in the 5 slot. You're gonna take a break or you're gonna go to the bullpen. I think there's going to be a lot of good competition for that number 5 slot. I love it. I love what they did. And I just hope that they don't make that mistake and try and make him a starter unless it's a spot start because of injury. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And another thing I thought about too, Shawn, and again, I think this White Sox season is going to either be extremely special or it's going to be a freaking disaster. But the other thing I'm thinking about is this a Tony La Russa call? Did Tony La Russa say, no, bring me that guy. I can do something with him. That could be the other part of this whole situation, Shawn, that we're not considering. That Tony, he's got his guy and he sees something in Rodon and he's saying, no, bring this guy back. I can work with him.
That could be. That very well could be. Basically right now, whatever Tony La Russa wants, Tony La Russa gets. Okay. They feel they have a window here in 2 to 3 years of them winning the World Series. I think it's a longer window, but I think with Tony La Russa at the helm, like the Sox are in win mode now. I've heard this, and I hate to use that team up there that plays north, but this is 2015 for the Cubs. Okay? You get to you get to the I couldn't think of the CS ALCS. I'm like, not national. You get to the ALCS, I'm good because you're right there, and I think if we can get past the ALCS, it's not going to be easy, but I think this team, the one thing this team needs to do is remember that they haven't won jack spit yet. Okay. The potential they have is through the roof, but you haven't won anything yet. And that needs to happen. I think Yohan Moncada needs to come out and have a great year.
Yes.
I think Lou Bob needs to come out and have a great year. I need Abreu to just be Jose Abreu. That's really all we need him to be. Tim Anderson going to have another good year. Eloy Jimenez. There's 3 guys. Moncada, because he was sick last year. He got COVID and never really recovered. Lou Bob, his second year. And Eloy Jimenez. Those 3 need to step up. Jay, I'm telling you, I want it to the point where none of the White Sox can win the MVP because they're stealing votes from each other. Because this 2-week span, Yohan Moncada went nuts. He hit 500. The span it was Jose Abreu. Then the next 2-week span it was Lou Bob. The next 2-week span it was Eloy. The next 2-week span it was Tim Anderson. Then the next 2 weeks the cycle started all over again.
Right.
That's what I want from this team. And the crazy part about it is they have the talent to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I also think Grandal is going to play a key part in this because you and I are both James McCann fans.
Yes, we are.
Especially when it comes to being behind the plate. And let's be honest, Yasmani is not the best defensive catcher. He's probably one of the best offensive catchers in the league, but he can get a little shaky back there. So we'll have to see what Zach Collins' development has been like. I am happy he's going to actually get a shot now to see what he can do, and he will be the backup catcher, but he's going to play some important moments in this season. So defensively, what we have behind the plate, I'm a little concerned about it because I was a big time James McCann fan, but okay, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. The White Sox is definitely stacked, though, man. We'll see what Nick Madrigal is like coming off this injury. This could be real fun, and I did break down. I went and got my 10-game plan, and don't tell my wife, Shawn, but I upgraded the seats to the club seats. So.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh, you fancy, huh? Jay's fancy. I see you, Papa. I see you.
Hey man, I'm getting old, man. It's getting cold out there. I kind of want that comfort now and a little extra wide seat.
Man, so you know what? I am actually planning. I'm kind of planning to head out to Arizona. So whether it's March or April. That'll be fine. If it's April, man, it'll be real warm. It'll be hot out there
right.
in Arizona. And in March, it's warm. 75, maybe 80. But in you start hitting April, you're talking 80 plus. And I got people out in Arizona too. So I'm, Maya knows my guy. We went out. So we think Mario McCray is like, hey, he goes, I have a question for the Spurs. Well, why is no one talking about this Chad Wheeler guy? I know of 2 guys who were thrown to the wolves with similar situations. Just a question. we actually did talk about it. You're right. The sports world should talk about it a lot more. And thank you, Mario. I appreciate the comment. Guys, in case you don't know who Chad Wheeler is, Chad Wheeler is a former he's a backup offensive lineman for the Seattle Seahawks who beat his girlfriend, apparently tried to kill her because she wouldn't bow to him. He's white, she's black. Okay, we talked about it. Was it Friday, Ivan, or last Wednesday?
That was Friday. Friday was
Friday. Okay, and she wouldn't bow to him, so he choked her. He punched her. He choked her. He thought he'd killed her, and when she got up, according to her, she said, "Oh," he goes, "You're still alive?" And then he went back and tried to choke her again. She was able to get into a bathroom. She called a friend. And this on so many different levels, just on a domestic abuse side, it's bad. Doesn't matter if it's black and white, black, white. Okay. From man to woman. Okay. You just can't do that. But the psychological part of it and that aspect is one we need to get to and talk about. Is the white man making the black woman bow to him? Okay. Now he won't make his own woman bow to him, but he's making the black woman because, and that's just white supremacy. Okay. And, thinking that he's better than her. And I think that, so he got released by the Seattle Seahawks, but my question to him, first of all, he should never play again in the NFL. Now, if he does play, how's that going to go over with teammates? How's that going to go over with his black teammates? Okay, that's going to be the issue, because I'll tell you, there's going to be one or two militant guys in that locker room who are not going to take too kindly to what he did, because if you saw the pictures of her,
right, it was really hard.
Yeah, if you saw the pictures of her, he beat her ass and choked her, and you see she got a bloody lip, her lip swollen, black eye. I mean, he just hauled off and hit her. Dude, you're 200, 300, you're about 300 pounds, dude. Why are you hitting a 125, 150 pound woman? Okay, there's no reason for it. And then the problem is that the issue, again, Mario McCray, thank you for bringing it up so we can talk about it a little more, is that he's bipolar, and so now everyone say, oh, well, he's sick, he's got issues. Okay, no, you know what? You need to be on your medication. You're playing football. Okay, you know that you need to be on medications. The fact that you're not, okay, that if I'm a team and I know that you have issues, then I need to say you need to be on these meds. If you miss, and I don't care if you have someone call, because they have people do a whole bunch of stuff. You know the water boys make $50,000 a year. Jason?
I did not know that.
Yes, they make $50,000 a freaking year going and squirting water in your mouth, right in your mouth. Okay,
hey man, it's an important job, Shawn.
Yes, it is. So you mean you can't pay someone $50,000 to make sure that this Joker's taking his day at certain times? You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm FaceTiming you. I need to take your pills. Okay, you sit down with him. You sit down with him, his agent, and the person who's going to be FaceTiming him. Okay, or if he's not at the facility. Okay, because he'll probably be at the facility if it's during regular season. And say, hey, listen, he's going to call you. You don't pick up, and he tells us you're cut. Okay. You don't take your pills, and he doesn't want you to take your pills, you're cut. Anything this guy tells you to do, you're cut. That simple. No ifs, ands, or buts. This is not a discussion. I'm telling you how it's going to happen. Okay, you need to be on your medication, and this guy is here to make sure. If he has any problems with you, he says you sneeze wrong, you're cut. Do you understand that? Yes. Okay. Just so you know, this is how it's going to go down, and they need to have that conversation with him. They needed to have that conversation. So, if he's back in the NFL, which I hope he's not, he's going to have some issues, because there are going to be some people who didn't take kindly to what he did to a black woman.
Well, and I'll say this, and I think I know where Mario is coming from. The Ray Rice situation.
Ray Rice.
That was a horrible situation. The NFL dragged their feet on it initially until it got out and became so public they couldn't deny it anymore. And then we all saw the tape of how he hit that woman in that elevator. How he just reared back and punched her. And Ray Rice lost his career over it, and he should have. The same thing should definitely happen to Chad Wheeler. He should lose his career over this. I've got a family member who's has the same condition, came off his meds and did a very similar thing. Matter of fact, it was a little bit worse even. So I will tell you that people who are bipolar, for some reason, they at certain points they feel like I don't need this medicine anymore. I don't want to take it, and they get off the meds, and then you have an incident like this happen. And fortunately, this young woman was not killed because that is what definitely can happen. She was seriously injured. She's going to be psychologically scarred from this, and he needs some serious help. And he doesn't deserve the opportunity to play in the NFL. So, now, to get to Mario's point, Shawn, now bring it up with you. How much has the NFL actually changed? How much have they actually changed? Did the Ray Rice incident really change things? Or was that just a one-time thing? I know Roger Goodell has suspended multiple people for violating the personal conduct policy in recent years. He's been consistent with it. We haven't heard him really say anything on this one yet. And I'm taking this because he's trying to let the investigation become complete. But I'm pretty sure we will not see Mr. Wheeler anytime soon. And I will give kudos to Seattle for cutting him. I don't know how fast they knew about this, but they did take decisive action.
Yeah, their decisive action was what was important to me. And there has to be, it can't be a precedent because there's already been rulings made, but they have to be swift and severe. They have to be swift and severe and say, the thing is, unless you're dealing, and even if you are dealing with an amazing talent, okay, there's got to be a line that you just don't cross. Okay? There has to be a line. And if you get found guilty, because not accused, because we know when some women will lie just to get back at you, because for whatever reason, whether it's legitimate or not, they will lie and to ruin your career, okay, because you pissed them off or they're not happy. Okay, so if this is found true, okay, then I don't think it should be a one and done. This is not something that just kind of happened, okay, or happened once in a while. This is something that's happened for years. This is something that people are very aware of. And then with the hashtag Me Too movement, you have to have a swift and severe punishment, because a big portion of your fan base is women.
Yes.
They buy your jerseys. You make women's cut jerseys.
Yep.
Okay. You make them. Then you make them in pink. You make them. He needs to be talked about. This needs to be talked about on a regular basis. Saying, hey, this is, they need to go interview her. They need to go talk with her about it if she'll come on. Okay. If she'll come on, because sometimes they don't want it. They just don't want that attention.
Right.
So, and they need to keep this going and talking about him, because this is something that needs to stop. And if this is known, if his name is dragged through the mud, like other people's were, Ray Rice in particular, okay, hopefully it can be a deterrent for other people in the future. Say, hey, listen, whether she's batshit crazy, okay, and starts punching me, or slashing my tires, or gets a girl to come over or to do some, I need to leave. If I have to, I need to shove her out of the way and say, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. Get away from me. Go to some, you know what I mean? You have to, when you have all this to lose, you have to extract yourself from that situation. You have to, because if you don't extract yourself from that situation, look what you can lose. That six-figure check that you're getting, or the five-figure check or six-figure check, depending on what your salary is that particular year. Those probably aren't going to be coming any much longer, and those might be the biggest checks you get on a weekly basis in your life. And are you willing to give all that up? Okay. If not, then you need to extract yourself from that situation immediately. And they're told this is not something that they don't know, Jay. You know what I mean? They have the symposium. They have every year they talk to these guys about this, and especially the last one was Kareem Hunt. Remember that whole situation? Like, it doesn't matter what she's saying. It doesn't matter what she calls your mama. It doesn't matter if she spits on you. It doesn't matter if she said your sister's a hoe. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she said she slept with your best friend. It doesn't matter. Get your ass out of that situation. Leave. If they're in your house, leave. Get away, because you have a lot more to lose than they do. And chances are they're trying to make you lose whatever it is that you have. And that's an NFL career. And that's usually multi-millions of dollars.
Hey, Jason, I don't think this is the first time. Like, to me, in my opinion, I was like, this the severity of it and the way it unfolded and how nonchalant he was after this wasn't the first time. So, and Shawn, you're right. Like, some women will make an excuse for it. That's not my business. But you can't tell me that this wasn't the first time, or this was the first time.
I agree. It rarely is the first time when we find out about these things. And this young woman is very fortunate that she's still alive. These cases, a lot of times they turn out pretty gruesome. About 15 years ago, I have a friend who I went to high school with. She actually owns a women's shelter. And for a couple of years, I served as a male mentor to women who were victims of domestic violence, because a lot of times they haven't had a guy at a point in their life that shows them how a real man is supposed to treat them. So sometimes the victims end up getting in these bad situations because they haven't had any positive experiences with men, and it makes it really difficult for them to leave certain situations.
If that's all they know, that's all they know.
Right. So, it's a multi-layered problem.
Yeah.
But the problem is deadly. And you can't allow people like Chad Wheeler to be out here. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the court case. A lot of times, in my experience, these situations too, is the women may not go all the way through with the charges. So the prosecutor ends up knocking stuff down.
If you look at the thing from Vernon, the comment, he says, what's even more disturbing that she was making excuses for him. Well, that's what happens. The abused the majority of the time, the abused will make excuses for the abuser. He had a bad day. He forgot his meds. He was struggling. He had a lot of stress on his mind, and this, and you know what? That still doesn't give you, and I think we all are in agreement. It doesn't give you the right to put your hands on a woman. Okay.
That's right.
And, because he's not the only person who's struggling. He's not the only person who deals with with a bipolar disorder. He's not the only person who deals with multiple personality syndrome. He's not that only person who has stress in his life. He's not the only person who's dealing with money issues. He's not the only person who's dealing with family issues. He's not the only person. Okay. And he needs to be able to vent and release his frustration, his angst, his stress in a different way. And he needs to, as a man, and this is one of the things that I think is getting a little better now, is that men, it's okay for us to talk about issues that are bothering us. It's okay for us to say, hey, listen, the old lady at home she's getting on my nerves. The money's a little tight thanks to COVID. I got this. It's okay now to talk about the issues and get them out, because we've seen what happened for so long, and sometimes we didn't see until it was too late. What happens when we hold all of our stress and frustration inside? It manifests itself in an explosion, and unfortunately, a lot of people, usually women, are on the other end of that explosion. That's collateral damage.
Yep, and he's got ways he can do it. He's a professional football player, for Christ's sake. Take it out on the field. Go in the weight room. Take it out on the weights. Go do a run. I don't care if you learn how to paint. Like, you're the next Da Vinci. I don't care. Just do something. Don't put your hands on the woman. And so, I do appreciate Mario bringing that up. It does need to be talked about more. I think as the case goes forward, Mario, we will hear more in the media about it as the details start to leak out about what has really happened, what is the background with this couple, what charges will be filed, and how are they going to pursue them. So I think it will be talked about more. But I agree with you. It hadn't been really talked about enough at this point.
No, it hasn't. And, I hope as the case draws closer that his face is plastered all over, all over the news. I hope she comes out and talks about it. Because that could be therapeutic for her. But I hope she is getting counseling. I hope she is in a situation where she's in a place where she's safe, whether it be a shelter, whether it be, staying with a friend's house or a family member's house. Because this is the worst is probably over, but it's still not smooth sailing, because once the case comes, you're gonna have to see him in court. There's gonna be a lot of things said about you on TV. You understand? Yep. His legal team is gonna go digging dirt on you.
Yep.
So if you were hoeing around and you have that type of reputation, that's gonna be brought up, or they're gonna try and bring it and paint that picture of you. So there's gonna be a lot of things that your family and friends may not know about you. That's going to come up. And that's another thing that's one of the reasons, we all have dirt, and if he knows what some of her dirt is, he could say, we're going to talk about this. And how would your dad like to know that you did this sexually, or you did that sexually, or you did this, and that a lot of times that scares people. That scares women because of the image that they have. But, hopefully for her, it doesn't scare her if there's any skeletons in her closet. She just got, for her sake, and not just for her sake, for other women's sake. Just say, hey, you know what? I don't care what's said about me. You still don't have the right to put your hands on me and beat me like you're playing on the field. So,
yep, I agree.
Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more sports conversation. We're going to talk about Bobby Knight wannabe. What the hell's all that about? We're going to talk about that on the other side. He's a high school coach with Bobby Knight wannabe. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya on SportsZone Chicago.
Hey, this is Gary Payton, and we listen to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Do that.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. A 2-goal third period lifted the Blackhawks past the Blue Jackets 3-1 on Sunday. Goals from Patrick Kane, Philip Kurashev, and Pia Sutter, while Kevin Lankinen made 32 saves in net. The Blackhawks improved to 1-1 on a 4-game homestand after losing 2-1 to the Blue Jackets on Friday night. The Hawks had been winless in 3. The Hawks with a sorely needed win a day after the team canceled practice due to COVID-19 concerns. Ryan Carpenter and Nicholas Bowden were placed on the NHL's COVID list, joining teammates Alex DeBrincat, Adam Boquist, and Lucas Wallmark. The Bulls are home tonight hosting the Knicks. Chicago coming off a 123-122 home loss against the Blazers on Saturday. They'll look to snap a 3-game slide tonight. The Bulls and Knicks also play again Wednesday night at United Center. This update brought to you by the Score app. Download the free Score app today. It's one of the most popular sports apps in North America. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Breathe out and repeat after me. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Your bird is eating my candles.
Your bird is eating my candles.
No, seriously, he's making a mess.
No, seriously.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. Sitting here with my guy, Jason Palmer. He's one half of the tag team duo of the co-host of What's Up, Cuz, which is on tonight. What you got on tonight, Papa? Who you got on?
Oh, man. Well, so Black History Month starts today. Happy Carter G. Woodson Day to everybody. We'll be talking about Black history in sports and it's the contributions of Black Americans into the sporting world. That's one of the things we'll talk about. And our special guest is going to be a guy who's from Illinois, played at the University of Iowa. So, that means Maya is happy about that.
Yeah, you know that. Yes, she is.
We got AC Earl coming on to the show. AC Earl, former NBA player, and is currently an author. He's just written his 5th book that is being released. I think it's getting released today, as a matter of fact. And it talks a little bit about the subjects we're talking about, African Americans in sports as part of Black History Month. So AC Earl is going to join us tonight at about 6:30. And then we're probably going to have another special guest come on. We're trying to get Bob Kendrick from the Negro League Museum to come in and talk about, it's been a rough year for the Negro League Museum. They've lost Hank Aaron, Dick Allen, Lou Brock, Joe Morgan. I mean, it's been a lot of Black Hall of Famers who've passed away. But we're going to try to get Bob to come on at the end of the show to talk a little bit about what the Negro League Hall of Fame is doing. And they are reopening during this COVID crisis thing. So we're going to talk to Bob because it's a great place to go visit. So we're going to have Bob probably later on in the show, but we're going to have AC Earl coming on at 6:30. And we're going to talk a lot with him.
All right. Ivan has put something up. This is the thing that we were talking about right before the break, where there's a coach who got a little crazy. You know, I've seen coaches get loud, get obnoxious. You know, working in the public league as a teacher, I've seen plenty of basketball coaches get loud, obnoxious, disrespectful, intimidate coaches, or excuse me, officials. But they're really, again, there's no room for that. You know, whether or not, and I get it. Don't get me wrong. I was a football coach, and there's a lot of times referees made mistakes. Okay, but here's a crazy idea, and I don't know if you realize or anyone else realizes it. They're human. I'm not sure if people know that. As coaches, we've made mistakes. Okay, and who's there to yell at us and scream at us and berate us when we make a mistake? Okay, it can't be the parents. Oh no, it can't be the parents because we're the coaches. We know everything's right. You know what I mean? So people need to worry about, you know, when the shoe's on the other foot. You know, it's not like reporters a lot of times. You know, the media, they're above reproach. You know, they can sit there and talk about, you know, this guy had a horrible pass or you blew it and this, but no one ever says your article sucked.
Right. Or your facts are wrong.
Yeah, you know. So, but I digress. Here's a situation that is in Indiana. It happened in Indiana. The Indiana
Gary, Indiana, Friday night.
GI, Saturday night. And just take a look.
Play, the long skip pass across the court. Finding a much bigger as Nixon is in there with 4 fouls. Here's Stewart right in the baseline, but he gets called for the walk. Nick Moore about to lose his mind. It looked like he was about to throw a chair.
That was Bob Knight, Bob.
He did. He threw a chair. Unbelievable. Coach Moore just threw a chair onto the floor. He's going to throw another one. Now, folks, I have never seen this live at a game, and it is not a good display of sportsmanship. This is something the IHSAA is not a fan of. So 6:32 left to go. Let's talk about the game because I don't want to give this too much attention.
So there's a lot
of Bowman High School. Yeah, talk about it.
Let me give you this. So there's a lot to talk about with this, besides the obvious. So the background of this is that Coach Moore, who's the coach of Lighthouse, he was the head coach, the one you saw throwing the chair. He played at that school and was part of their state championship team in 2010. He played for Bowman. He played for his stepfather, who passed away in 2017 in a car accident. Okay. The court that they're playing on was named after his stepfather. So this would be like you going back to St. Rita, coaching another school, but you go back to St. Rita and you start clowning at your old school that your stepfather is a legend at. Okay, so that's the other background.
Wow.
So his assistant coach also, it's not seen there in that clip. So he got kicked out of the game, obviously. But at the end of the game, which his team did win the game, the assistant coach who had taken over for him also threw a chair on the court as his team was headed back to the locker room. Okay, so you've now had two situations where coaches have thrown chairs onto the court. And Ryder will probably run the clip again. But if you notice, when he threw that chair, he almost hit his own player with the chair. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that would have been a complete mess. So as it stands now, the IHSAA, which is in Indiana, is currently doing their investigation into it. But there's even more to this sad story, Shawn. His athletic director was at the game when this happened. His athletic director got kicked out of the gym before he threw the chair because the athletic director was clowning. He got thrown out in the third quarter. This incident happened in the fourth quarter. And to top it all off, his principal was also in the stands at the time. I know it's a lot to unpack here. I've given you a lot.
You couldn't make this stuff up, Jay.
I can't.
You couldn't make this stuff up. His principal and his athletic director, his immediate boss and the big boss are at the game, and he wants to act an ass. This is something. And then on a different level, this is part of the issue. When people say, well, he's doing a good job of, you're coaching the young men all the time. It's like, no, that's bullshit. Okay. Okay. Because gangbangers can spend time with your son too and show them love and caring and a sense of belonging. Okay. When you show and you teach young black men, this is how you act when you don't get your way. This is how you act when things go against the way you're going. This is what they're going to do. Then you send them out into the world.
And they go into prison.
And they do this, and you're like, why did he was such a good kid? But look at the examples that you set for him.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the examples that you said was okay, that you fostered, that you enabled. These are the things, and you have to understand, you're not a white kid. You don't get the same leverage or same leeway, that white kids would get in society. You don't. And so when you do something like this, it's a hindrance to young black men. You're actually just corralling them into the prison system, into being arrested, because it's okay. Because when it doesn't go my way, I get to throw things, I get to curse at people, I get to shoot guns, I get to do whatever I want because I'm mad. This is not the example that needs to be set for young black men. That's a horrible example. And I can give a rat's ass, what kind of status he has. That's a horrible person to teach that and show that to young people, because kids aren't going to do what you say. They're going to do what you do.
Yep.
Okay. They emulate you. I learned that the hard way when teaching at Curie. And then guys would say, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that, coach? I'm like, because I would tell them, because I have you looking up to me. Because I have you saying, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you say this to that person? I said, because I have you watching me and showing you there's another way. I don't have to curse this person out. I don't have to call him an F-bomb and call him and his mother everything. Because if you see it and you see me doing it and you look up to me, you're going to think that's okay. I think that's horrible. And I think he needs to be fired. I don't think he needs to be coaching again, because there's just too much going on in the world to have. It's bad enough when you have good kids, good kids of color, okay, who have to deal with a whole bunch of shit they don't need to. But then you put them on a wrong path and say this behavior is acceptable. It's acceptable because I didn't get what I wanted. That sets them up for failure big time.
Jason, what was you said the AD was acting a fool too? You said, what were they doing? Like, if you got your coach throwing chairs and you're also acting a fool, what were you doing?
So here's the thing, Ivan. We very rarely, as an official, will ask for host management to remove someone from the gym. Technically, we don't have the authority to throw you out of a game. People get that misconstruction. What we're allowed to do is stop the game, notify the host management what the problem is, and then host management makes a decision on either talking to the person or having them removed from the gym. Whatever the athletic director of Lighthouse did, they felt he needed to be removed from the gym. We have not gotten that part of the story yet on what he actually did, but it had to be pretty egregious if they removed the athletic director from the gym.
Your title alone gets you some leeway, a lot of leeway.
Exactly. And, and again, I'm stunned that the principal was at this game. Don't know her. I know she's an African-American female. She was at the game. These are your employees. So here's my thing. And, I used to know the mayor of Gary when it was Karen Freeman. I used to know her pretty well. I don't know the current mayor. But here's the thing. When it gets past that and you have a principal there and the principal didn't take any action, you're now going to look at the school superintendent will probably get involved in this.
Yep.
But, it's still political. The mayor is responsible for the school. So you can bet your ass the mayor, Gary, is calling the school superintendent like, what the hell are we doing? We're all over the news.
Nationally.
Right, because this dude is throwing chairs around. What's going on? So, I expect, here in the coming days, you're going to hear from the IHSAA. You're going to hear from the mayor. You're going to hear from the school superintendent. If they're not doing a press conference today, we're going to definitely hear about that because this is absolutely uncalled for. Now, I can tell you what I would have done as the referee and the guy throw a chair at me. The game is suspended, and y'all play this another day with another set of refs, first of all. Second thing I'm doing is I'm immediately calling the police. This dude just committed aggravated battery by throwing a chair. He almost hit that kid. Had he hit that kid with that chair, that's aggravated assault on a youth.
He almost hit that. He would have took his legs clear out, Jason.
Exactly. I mean, you're talking some serious charges here. I would have immediately notified the police. I would have signed a complaint, and you also required to report it to the governing body, which in this case would have been the IHSAA. And I would have sued his school and the school district and him personally because you just threw a chair at me, man. What the hell are you doing? A chair? He threw a object with nobody, nobody was able to defend themselves. He threw it, and then we also saw in the clip, he also threw a basketball onto the court. That ball that we saw going into, that was a ball that was off on the side, and he threw the basketball too. So this guy threw a chair, he threw a basketball, and what we've also learned in the reports is that you saw him motioning for somebody to come over. What happened was the athletic director at that particular school came over to him, and he was like, man, what's going on? And he said, Coach Moore was complaining about the referees, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, look, Coach, we all share the same referees. I can't do nothing about what they call. He was like, but, you're doing this. This game is on television. That was on the regional sports network there in Indiana. He was like, this game is on TV. You've got your principal here. You've got your athletic director here. You got parents here, kids. And you're doing this stuff. And what he said in the newspaper was that the coach told him he didn't give a F about who was here. So the guy was completely out of control. And then his comments the next day was, he said, well, looking back on it now, having time to think, I should have handled the situation better.
A little bit.
This is a situation where, again, this needs to be handled swiftly and severely, and they're going to need, and it's unfortunate because he could have been a very influential role model to those kids. Okay, and none of us are perfect, so I'm not getting on my soapbox saying that I am perfect because there were things that I did when I coached that I had to adjust. Okay, but you also have to, in depending on how. Like if you're a teacher or not, because if you're not a teacher, a lot of times you don't think about those things, about that, that they're emulating you. Okay. And the example you set, but there has to be just as swift, severe and say, hey, listen, you can't coach. You're not coaching here anymore. You're not allowed to coach in the district. Okay. So you resign. Okay. Or we're firing you. Okay. Maybe you can get a job in another further downstate or another state or something, but not here. Okay, we don't want to take your livelihood away or your love of coaching, but it's not going to be here because of the example you set for these kids. These kids are in GI. They're in Gary, Indiana. Okay. The chances for majority of those kids, all right, don't have a shot. Okay, because of the way that the system is set up. Okay. And then you add this to their plate where the schools are underfunded. The materials are outdated. The schools are outdated. They're dilapidated. They're falling apart. And so these kids are behind the 8 ball to begin with.
Yes.
Then you add this fuel to the fire and say it's okay to act like this when you don't get your way, when things don't go the way we planned. That's criminal. That's criminal to do that to these young men. And you don't think about it that way, because you're thinking, oh, he's a good guy. He's taking time out with the kids and he gives up his time and this and this. But as I said, a racist will give up his time to build more racists, and gangbangers will give up more time to have more gangbangers. Okay. And foster them into that line of thinking. He's fostering them into that line of thinking. And we don't get as many advantages or as many breaks as people who are lighter than us. It's just the way that the situation, it's just the way that the world, that America is. And you can't, that can never leave your mind when you're dealing with black and brown kids. That can never leave your mind.
Right. Another thing too, Shawn, is that this was Lighthouse is a charter school. So it's one of the charter schools. And, there's a lot of debate about charter schools and public schools and which are better. I can only tell you on my experience, speaking on my experience on what I've seen. Whenever I've officiated at charter schools, I tend to have more problems with charter schools than I do at your regular public schools when it comes to athletics. And here's why. Much of the focus on the charter school is basically on just the academics. And there are people coaching at a lot of these charter schools who do not need to be coaching. I've had to explain basic rules to coaches at these charter schools. I've had a lot of discipline problems with kids at these charter schools. It's almost as if they just pick some teacher and they say, okay, you've got the volleyball team, you've got the basketball team, you've got this, you've got that. And, coaching is serious business, man. You got to know what you're doing. You can ruin a kid if you got a bad coach. They don't focus really on the athletic part. And you and I have a problem with that because we understand athletics is part of the education process. It shouldn't be just this like extra gym class like some of these charter schools teach it or how they treat it. And, it's bad with a lot of these charter schools, man, and they don't have kind of the same, I don't want to say structure, kind of authority of people who they report to, even though they're supposed to. So we'll be very interested to see what goes forward here. This particular charter school, Lighthouse, has had some issues in the past with other schools as well, I'm being told. So this is going to be a story to really watch to see how they handle this. And they definitely need to handle it quickly and severely, as you said.
Yeah, it's just a horrible thing. Let's move on. Guys, we're joined by Jason Palmer. He is a co-host of What's Up, Cuz, which is on tonight on SportsZone Chicago from 6 o'clock. And with his cousin, whose birthday it is, the cousin of the birthday of Lance C. Irvin. They'll be on, and they have a great show. Again, tell us about the show tonight. Who you have on?
Got AC Earl. AC Earl is coming on. Former Iowa player, former NBA player. He played in the league for 4 years, and then he played overseas. And he's got a new book that he just written. This is his 5th book, as a matter of fact. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Book number 5 for AC Earl. So AC's going to join us, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff with him. And he's also a coach too, so I'm definitely going to get his take on that incident we just saw.
That's good stuff. Make sure you tune in tonight at SportsZone Chicago, either on the app or the Facebook page or our YouTube channel. One of the 3 ways you can catch us there. So I want to hear your thoughts on the Deshaun Watson scenario. Now, after the big trade. Jared Goff goes from Los Angeles to Detroit. Detroit gets Matt Stafford, but accompanying Jared Goff are 2 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick. Wow. Talk to me about that, and then what you think now. What you think because we said the price. The Houston Texans said the price for Deshaun Watson to start. We're looking at two firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 young defensive players.
Yeah, I think any teams is willing to pay all that stuff for one player in football is out of their damn mind. And I think people haven't learned yet from the Herschel Walker deal how Dallas rebuilt their entire team off that one deal, and that's how they got Super Bowl. They haven't learned from Ricky Williams when Mike Ditka did his stupid deal on trading all them people for Ricky Williams and the Saints, and that blew up in their face. Look, man, it's football. You know it. You one injury away. I wouldn't be giving up all them draft picks for one person, even as talented as Deshaun Watson is. Now, that's what they may be setting it at, but I don't know if they're going to get it. In terms of the Goff Stafford thing, I think, we're going to find out how good Matt Stafford really is now that he's out of Detroit. I think Detroit now has the opportunity to not be Detroit because they got a lot for it.
Are they going to be Detroit? Are they going to Detroit themselves and screw up the draft picks? Because we know about screwing up draft picks here. That's for damn sure.
There you go. Is Detroit going to Detroit themselves? They have an opportunity now. You got a decent quarterback, plus you got a whole lot of draft picks. So if you know what you're doing,
yourself again, you're gonna pull a DeAndre Swift.
There you go. So I mean, if you know what you're doing, Detroit could be looking pretty good here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Deshaun Watson, that's a very high price. I don't think the Bears will pay it. They're not going to do that. Even as much as under the gun as they are right now, I don't think they would do that. You know, especially when he gave away all those picks to get Mac.
We're just basically coming out of those.
There you go. You're just now getting the first round draft pick. So, you know, you're gonna do this again. I don't see it happening, man. I don't. I really think he's gonna end up with my side piece team in Miami. Because I think they're gonna give him Tua. And I think Houston will be cool with that because they'll say, oh, okay, we got a young salary control quarterback who's gonna be pretty talented. So I think they'll give him Tua. They'll probably give him maybe a little bit more. In terms of draft pick wise, and I think Deshaun will end up in Miami. I think that's probably where he's going to want to go. But we'll see. I don't see him going to the Jets. I didn't know he had the option to reject on this trade. I wouldn't go to the Jets.
Yeah, he's got no trade clause. So wherever he's gonna say, okay, I want these teams. You know, have they negotiated or basically can say, okay, these teams came and talked to us. No, I don't want that. I want to go to this team. So then they're gonna have to get on the horn.
But you know who else I would think is probably gonna be into this because they got a history of doing it, Shawn. Watch for the Patriots, man.
No, he said he's not going to the Patriots.
Oh, he did.
Mm-hmm. He said he's not going to the Patriots. So he's So they're out of the equation, and that's when you have a no trade clause. You can literally pick the team that you want. And the truth be told, he doesn't have the leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the organization has the leverage because you're still under contract with us, and you get to you get to be fined for all the OTAs you miss, all the mandatory mini camps that you miss, for all the training camp days that you miss, for all the preseason games that you miss, and obviously for all the regular season, for practices that you miss, and for all the regular season games you miss. So, yes, I know that you'll be losing that stud quarterback that you have, but just to make a stand, okay, and the organization can say, okay, no problem. I mean, and they don't get to keep that money either. That goes into a pot they give to a charity at the end of the year. But you're going to lose a lot of money. And if you like making, what's he making? I think it's 10 this year and then 30 the next 2 years, something like that. That's a lot of money you're going to be losing because you don't show up for work. And then what can happen if you withhold your services for 30 days? Because remember, Le'Veon Bell had the same situation with the Steelers. When you withhold your services for 30 days, it'll affect your free agency. So instead of because if you sit out the whole year, which is obviously more than 30 days, you won't be a free agent. When you're a free agent, it'll be a year later or two. You know what I mean? So you're really putting yourself behind the 8 hole. So unless you got some good investments and you got a whole bunch of rental units and your stocks are doing pretty well and that's a lot of cheddar, But most times teams will crumble because of what they can get back for the player. But the team could play hardball, and if they do, it could get ugly down in Houston. Listen, guys, 3 hours has come and gone. Man, I want to thank my guest VJ Vemu for coming on talking little Bulls with us. Man, we had a great show. I also want to thank Joseph Phillips. And again, congratulations to Joseph. Coach Jason, I don't know if you heard, he told us that him and his wife are expecting a baby boy in June.
There you go. Congratulations, Joe. All right. Way to go. I wonder if he's going to put the stem on the apple.
So I was like, oh, God bless your wife, because now she's going to have three boys to deal with. Oh, boy. But yeah, thanks to Joe and congratulations to him. Thanks to Kenneth Davis for coming on. Thanks for our guy, Jason Palmer. Make sure you tune into his show tonight, 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time for What's Up Cubs with him and Lance Irvin. I want to thank my guy, Ivan Vargas, the Wiz, the man who makes it all run. I also want to thank our executive producer, Elliot Baez, Clarence Council III. He is our social media guy, my co-host at Absentia, Maya Kai. All of us together, we made it a great show, and I'm very grateful for all of you. So for all those people I mentioned, Jason Palmer included, and Ivan Vargas.
Until Wednesday, y'all. Super Bowl week. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. All the hype.
It's gonna be very fun. A lot of crazy questions. That's why we couldn't get any NFL writers today because 11 o'clock was the time for the Bucks. So yeah, so there was a Bucks availability, and they're like, no, I can't cut it too close. I don't want to cut it too close, and blah blah blah. I say, all right, cool, I get it. So we'll try to have them on Wednesday. We have a Bucks guy coming on Friday. I'm working on a Chiefs guy. I texted or emailed him yesterday, so we'll have a preview on Friday of writer from each of those teams. It's going to be mostly football, a little bit of other sports sprinkled in, but it's the biggest game, biggest spectacle of the sporting season, and that's the Super Bowl. So until Wednesday, so we're going to take a little 45-hour break. We'll see you on Wednesday, same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. to noon Central Standard Time. All right, guys, I got 2 words for you. We out.